Hey guys, your friendly PFBI agent here. Before we begin, I have a short announcement from the longtime friend of the channel, Derek Weber.
Hello fans of Vidith 22, this is Derek Weber. V has been quietly recording lines of dialogue for a brand new limited series horror fiction podcast. It's called Shadows in the Pines, and it's a 6-part story about a home invasion with a twist, and V plays a very important character. You can listen to part 1 right now by clicking on the Shadows in the Pines link in the description of this upload.
Thank you, Derek. Now,
this story is part of the Huntverse series. If you are not yet familiar with the expanded universe or characters, it is quite the journey. Now, let's delve into the dark together.
Part 1. My name is Lynch. Of course, that's not my real name. I work for the Paranormal FBI, PFBI for short. No, we're not the Men in Black. Those guys deal with aliens and the like. We deal with the strange things that don't come from space. I don't even comprehend what counts as from space anymore. The planet is literally made from crap from space. I'm getting off topic. I'm not one of the guys who goes risking their life capturing or killing things. I have a desk job. Sure, it's not as exciting as field work, but screw that. I like to live, so I'll gladly take the mundane job. If I can call this job mundane. I deal with paperwork and legal stuff regularly. Most of what I read, I can't even breathe a syllable. Otherwise, all files telling of my existence get shredded, just like the KIA operatives. This job isn't all bad. Occasionally I'm assigned to script interrogations. We keep those records for any organization that has the dough to buy a copy, or the rights entirely. Lucky for you, I've found a few not-so-secret files that I'll tell you for free. I think this is my 5th time scripting an interrogation. Whenever there's a case that's too strange for the normal FBI and the like, we get called in. This case is about a woman in her early 20s. She was suspected of murdering her parents as well as countless others. Yet all the evidence found proved inconclusive. This was a pretty regular case for me. Okay, that sounded quite dark. I forget you guys haven't gotten used to stuff like this. Anyway, here's my report. One of our agents was assigned to interrogate Miss Selena. This specific interrogator we call Blood Eyes. I usually recommend not keeping any kind of eye contact with them. If you do, you've lost. Their gaze forces you to speak the truth. Suspiciously, Selena gained everything her parents owned after they were murdered on the night of her 18th birthday. I already talked to the police 2 years ago. They couldn't find anything that proved me guilty. I thought this matter was settled. We know. What we want, however, isn't anything that can be pulled from official evidence. They like to pretend these kinds of things can be explained away with logic. What I want is to listen to what really happened from you. I can't tell you that. They'll just throw me in the loony bin. I'm not crazy. I know you're not. Someone crazy couldn't be this meticulous. I didn't do it. The interrogator's eyes changed from their usual dark green to a bright red. They stared into Selena's eyes. Then tell me what really happened. Selena drew in a sigh and shuddered. Fine. I hate retelling this. It was a Friday night, my 18th birthday party. My parents let me have a huge sleepover with my friends, as long as there were no boys there. We were loud as hell, yet my parents never came out of their room to keep us quiet. A couple years before, I found out they had soundproofed their room. You could probably guess why. Rachel, my best friend at the time, had snuck a bottle of tequila from her mom before heading over. After having a small glass, I started to not remember clearly, just bits and pieces. Courtney had admitted to breaking up with her boyfriend earlier in the day. She cried and then laughed, then cried again. Stacy and Amanda played Mario Kart. I kept losing to them. Apparently having older brothers had its advantages. We all fell asleep around 2 in the morning. Selena shifted in her seat before continuing. I woke up to the front door being pounded on by Rachel's dad. My parents didn't answer it, so I did. He was furious with her and grounded her for a couple of months. Stacy and Amanda left a few minutes later. Their boyfriends were playing against their older brothers in a football match later that afternoon. Courtney was the last to leave. She helped me clean up everything while finishing off the last few drops of tequila. About a half hour later, she was picked up by her mom, leaving me alone at home. The night before, my parents both told me they both had work. I went to check the mail. On the way, I found both of my parents' cars in the driveway. I was too confused to notice the shattered glass on both drivers' side doors. I simply thought they had slept in, or had huge migraines, or had a hangover. I went upstairs to look in the room. I knocked several times. No answer. I didn't hear them snoring through the door either. She began to tear up a bit, taking a few deep breaths before continuing. I opened the door, and there they were, covered in blood. I called the police, and they got there a few minutes later. I told them about the party, about the booze, about the shattered glass. They brought me in for suspicion of murdering my parents. Selena began to pound her fists on the table as she spoke. I couldn't comprehend why they suspected me. I had loved them all my life. How could I do such a thing? She took a few minutes, sobbing. I glanced over at her. I couldn't tell if it was an act or not. As insensitive as that sounds, I've seen too many fake tears that resulted in a bloodbath. She wiped away her tears and continued. It was about half a year of countless interrogations and so many reporters not leaving me alone that I couldn't take it anymore. I needed some help, so I went to see my boyfriend. It had been a while since I last saw him. I had practically abandoned him. So I went over to his house like I used to back when we were dating. I just needed the one person who felt like my last pillar of support. I knocked on his door a couple times, which was a bit odd. He usually answered quickly. When he finally opened the door, he looked surprised, shocked, even. I asked him if I could come in. He told me it wasn't a good time. That's when this blonde bimbo wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed him on the cheek. She had the audacity to ask who I was. I just blacked out after that. The next thing I remember was heading to my car with my blood-stained clothes stuffed in my bag. I didn't feel anything, as if my head was completely clear. It felt like that the entire time I drove home. I burned the bag along with the clothes and went to bed. The next morning, I woke up screaming. I could finally feel again. It was terrifying. Things like that happened more often afterwards. It was as if I was being piloted by someone else. Someone very calculating and precise. It took a few months before I remembered these blackouts, before I could interact during them. Over time, I began to enjoy it. It was like a thrill of excitement. I began looking for trouble, just to feel anything other than boredom. The police never caught on, but you guys did. Selena sat for a couple of minutes, just staring at her interrogator. They finally cleared their throat and asked one more question. This pilot you speak of, seems you've gotten used to its effects. Can you control it? The lights in the room flickered a bit, causing me to jump a bit. One of Selena's eyes had become absolutely black. In a voice both her own and not, she responded. Yes, I can. Rereading that made my skin crawl a bit. I can't explain to you how much I wanted to run back then. Eventually, over time, I grew used to things like this. I'll be working on another script soon. I'll post next time I get the chance. Sincerely, your friendly PFBI guy. Part 2. Hello again. Sorry for the wait. My superiors found my first post. They let me off with a warning. Since I left out anything too secret with my original post, I could continue. However, they've decided to assign someone to keep watch of me to make sure I don't slip up. I'm not sure who they have in mind, but I'm optimistic of my odds. Anyway, my last scripting is still fresh in my mind. I'd love to tell you about it once I remember where I put it. I could try to retell it from memory alone, but I fear I may miss a few crucial details. I did find one of my older ones, however. This was almost exactly a year after I started. Here's the scripting. Interrogating this specific case was Grunky. Not sure why he chose that name. Before he joins the PFBI, he used to be an avid hunter. He knew everything about the beasts of the world more than most. It's as if he could smell a lie the moment it was spoken. Sitting across from him was a man in his late 30s, Dwayne. His girlfriend, Sarah, had disappeared a few years before. Right after he disappeared off the map entirely, he's been squatting in abandoned dwellings in the woods since then.
You've been gone from the world for a long time, Mr. Dwayne. You seem tech-savvy for your age. I couldn't imagine why someone like you would want to completely abandon society altogether.
Dwayne stared down at the table.
What can I say? I just got sick of people, I guess.
Grunky leaned forward.
As silver as your tongue may be, your lies can't fool me. Now then, can you tell me what happened to Sarah?
Dwayne flinched for a moment.
She left. She couldn't handle being with me anymore. Your fibs are getting you nowhere. I don't care how ridiculous the truth may be. I can't help you if you don't tell me what that is, Mr. Dwayne.
Grunky leaned back in his chair, waiting for Dwayne to continue. After several moments of silence, Dwayne spoke again.
It was supposed to be perfect. I planned everything 2 weeks in advance. It was our 5-year anniversary of being together. Valentine's Day. Candles lit, turkey roast finishing up in the oven. I checked my watch for the 2,000th time. Sarah would be home very soon, hopefully just in time for dinner. My hand slid into my pocket for the 10th time that night. The proposal ring was still there. Moments later, Sarah walked in. She was ecstatic when she saw everything. She walked to me and planted a kiss on my cheek. I asked her how work was. She told me it was a slow day. Soon after, we discussed it, as we always do over dinner, about our day, plans for the future, hoping to advance in our jobs. Time seemed to flow by so quickly. Being the gentleman, I cleaned up the meal. Sarah waited for me as she prepared for the evening's activities. She told me she was going to change into something more comfortable. My heart stopped at that moment. I dropped the plate I was finishing up, letting it shatter on the floor. I tried to stop Sarah from opening the closet, but it was too late. She noticed the blonde strands of hair poking out from my pile of laundry. She was furious with me. No, more rage than even hell itself burned within her eyes at that moment. She asked me who I was cheating on her with. I kept telling her I had no idea. That's when she reached for the blonde hair and yanked it upwards. What she pulled up wasn't a woman, but a severed head, still dripping with blood. Sarah's face of utter horror mirrored the head's expression. She began screaming, trying to get away from me. The blinds were torn from the window, allowing the light from the full moon in. My body transformed into that of a feral beast. I couldn't control myself as I tore her flesh apart and devoured her. It was several hours before I transformed back. I couldn't live with what I had done, so I ran. I ran to where no one would find me.
Dwayne's hand kept fiddling with 2 rings that rested on his ring finger. The table was wet with his tears. Grunky cleared his throat.
You were going to propose to her that night, yet you ended up killing her instead. Can you explain the head in the closet?
Dwayne wiped away his tears, clearing his throat, and tried.
A few hours before Sarah got home, I was looking for someone to satisfy my hunger for when I transformed. I found a homeless woman in an alleyway. No one would miss her, so I took her home and cut her up. I had to stop right as I got to the head. I'd almost forgotten to start the dinner I'd planned for Sarah, and I just figured the fumes from my laundry would hide the scent to the corpse.
Apparently I didn't hide it well enough. Dwayne finally locked eyes with Grunky. I assumed he was going to plead for his life to be spared. Look, I know what I'm guilty of. More people than those 2 women have lost their lives because of me. Just arrest me. Better yet, just kill me. A monster like me doesn't deserve to live at all. Grunky pondered at Dwayne's words for a couple minutes. I never mentioned anything about punishment or death, did I? You may be able to turn into a feral creature, yet you don't seem like a beast to me. How would you like a job instead? Dwayne's gaze locked with Grunky's once more. Are you serious? Absolutely. You have quite the unique ability we could use. You'd fit right in with our employees. I'd advise you to not become too attached to them. Death is more common here than in normal society. Well, deal. So, it seems we've got another werewolf working for us. He was transported to another department the day after. I'm not sure what happens to those who aren't in my department, unless they die. Then I get to see their paperwork before it's completely gone. I'll try to find that one scripting I mentioned before. Not a lot of places I could have left it. Anyway, take care. I'll be back in the near future. Once again, your friendly PFBI guy. Part 3. Hey there, Lynch again. I'm sorry for the lack of recent updates. I had to recuperate from actual exhaustive physical demand. I'm hoping you've had better days than I've had recently. Honestly, it was more hell than I could have hoped for. And so, my higher-ups finally decided on a punishment for my first post. Mandatory field work for an expendable office scrub. I managed to survive, so that's good, at least. When I get back, I found someone else in my office. The person they assigned to keep an eye on me was Selena. Cruel irony, in my opinion. She was a tad less furious when she found out I put her story up. Let me just tell you this. It's a major pain as well as incredibly difficult to type with one broken arm. As long as she doesn't kill me or damage me beyond repair, she can do as she wishes, as declared by her higher-ups. So I finally found the script I wrote last. This one is very weird, which is saying something. Anyway, here it is. This case, there was no suspect. There wasn't even a crime. At least, not in our world. Sitting on the suspect's side of the table was an elderly man, Hanklin. He claimed he was a police officer that served 10 years ago until he retired. Our records pulled up an officer matching his description and blood type, yet their files said that they had been deceased for the last 15 years. After hearing his story, we suspect he came from another Earth, but from a different timeline, or universe. Dimension? The fact is, he didn't come from space specifically, so his case is ours to deal with. Interrogating this case was a stunningly gorgeous woman. I can't even begin to describe her. We call her the Eye Siren. Her true physical description's never been seen by a human. She appears different to everyone, the pinnacle of absolute beauty as each person imagines it. Whether you look at her in person, through a screen, even a photo, her form is what your subconscious desires. What I saw was a beautiful woman. Her physique was slender, yet toned, delicate, yet had a threatening undertone to her. She had hair mixed of cherry red and silvery white. Her eyes also reflected her hair, one red, one white. She had scars on her face, though I know not why. Staring at her felt as if a memory was being pulled at. It caused a huge migraine for me, so I stopped looking at her. She's been able to use her ability quite well to her advantage, getting whatever she wants. In this case, the truth. Mr. Hanklin, you said your name was. I wanted to ask you to tell me again, in your words, what happened. Hanklin stared in shock and confusion at I. For simplicity's sake, I'll just refer to her as Sire. Saying I over and over again might sound like I'm interrogating. You look like her. Why? How? A smile crept onto the lips of Sire. Oh, I see. I am able to bring your loved ones back to life in small times of communication. They speak through me, as I can take their appearance. One of her many lies to break down the walls of protection. It's worked in the past countless times. Most of the time.
Grace, how have you been? That's a dumb question. You're dead. Why did I ask that?
I feel weightless. It feels almost like sleeping. My mind lost most of what I can remember. What happened, Hanklin? He began to sob, covering his face with his hands.
You were right. You were right about him. I should have just ended it there. And now you're gone. Everyone's gone. It's all
right. Slowly. Breathe. Let's take it one step at a time. Hanklin took a few shuddering breaths before continuing.
You're right. Okay. It started in high school. I had a best friend, Michael. You hated him. There was something about him you saw that no one else did. We graduated together. I got the lowest scores of our class. He was standing up there with the highest scores anyone's ever seen. He had more focus than I did, and it showed in everything he did. He always said he would change the world. A few months went by when both Mike and I went into the military. Basic training was brutal, but also kind of fun. Our sergeant scared the piss out of me, but Mike, damn, he had no emotion, and no one could break him. He did everything perfect. He was a pinnacle for what we should aim for, and naturally, most people hated him for that. We made it through the basics. A few months went by, and we were deployed. We were there for a few years. A lot of hell happened. I felt lucky I made it with just a few scars. Mike, he always went above and beyond for us, always making sure we all made it back after every mission. He was a brother to me. When the time came to go home, Michael stayed. He told me, I'm not done here. I want to finish what we set out to do. I couldn't talk him out of it. None of us could. I came home, and he stayed in hell. I wanted to put my experience to use. The desk job didn't suit me.
Okay, that hurt.
I went through the police academy, barely making it through the legal stuff. It was tough as hell, but I preferred it to the hell across the seas. I spent about a decade as an officer before it felt more of a burden. I retired, spent a few months with you, Grace, my wife.
Hanklin's eyes began to tear up again. Sire spoke to him in what I'm guessing to be Grace's voice.
But what happened? How did I die? I don't know. You were there 1 minute and gone in the next. We were sitting in the hotel room, packing up to head home. I got a phone call from a number I hadn't seen in years. Mike. I answered him almost immediately. I asked him how he was doing. Silence. I asked him if he was okay. More silence. In a voice that sounded older than I had last heard it, he asked me a question that I wasn't prepared to answer. Do you have a solution to stop the violence in this world? It was quiet for what felt like too long. I told him that I guessed treating each other with kindness and consideration. He was quiet again for a half a minute. If that were true, why hasn't it worked? I didn't know how to answer him.
Hanklin looked up.
Grace, you kept looking at me with concern. I was about to tell you before Michael started again. I don't know what else to do. I wish I knew the solution for world peace, for what's about to happen. I want you to know, Hank, I'm sorry. I've tried to find the answer. I've always found it in the past. I just hope they can forgive me. I love you, brother. The line went dead, and the ground started shaking violently. I don't know what the hell was happening. Everything felt so hot all of a sudden. I tried to see through the window. All I saw was a blinding light. My mind felt like it was fading away completely. Next thing I know, I was in an emergency room.
so much pain I couldn't think straight. After a couple of weeks, my body stopped hurting. From the doctor's reports, I was found on the edge of the Nevada desert. Radiation emitted from my body, as if I had absorbed it somehow. These advanced doctors cured me from my blistered, covered, radioactive body. Come to find out, everyone I knew personally is gone. Hardly anyone even heard about them, as if they didn't even exist here. Hanklin took a few sighs before going on. I just wish I could have had the answer for him. You know, maybe I could have stopped all this. Maybe you would still be alive. He stared longingly into Sire's eyes. You did your best. Thank you. You told him what you believed. It was up to him to decide to accept it or not. Go and live. Be happy. Not for my sake, but for your own. But I don't know where to go. Apparently I'm as good as dead. Why not try to get a job here? They seem accepting of a dead woman already. What about that? Damn. Spending your whole life believing in someone just to have them destroy everything you've had. That sounds like my first 3 relationships. Not sure where they're going to assign Harklin, but I suspect he's going to be another field agent. With all that radiation, I'm curious if he'll become a hulking mass of muscle that join a team of firefighters and save New Jersey or something. Oh well. I'll update you guys as soon as I can. Have a great rest of your time and day, and stay safe. Your friendly PFBI guy. Part 4. Hey there, Lynch here. Hope you're doing well, because I'm not. I'm in quite the grumpy mood right now. If that explanation can wait, though. Selena had recently asked me for a favor. Now, I suck at keeping secrets. If he told me something, I'd probably not shut up about it and post it here or something. To keep me in absolute secrecy, she threatened to break both my legs and remaining arm. I'll update you on that when she says I can. Something strange has happened here. We've had an entire shift of our superiors and higher-ups. I know this because their files appeared on my desk today. On top of the stacked folders was a note that read, KIA, vanish immediately. Here, we use the term vanish to erase any and all history, both physical and digital, of their existence. Their bodies are taken care of by someone else. I'm not sure who, though. Usually, whenever they shift a superior's position, it's one at a time. It gives the current superiors time to train the newbie while seeing if they're fit for the job. Never, and I mean never, had every single person been replaced all at once. I suspect it'll take quite some time to shift to normality. Anything from a couple months to a year, which gives me some time to laze around on the internet. Speaking of which, something very interesting happened. So, I found another series of posts online, and it rubbed me the wrong way. Apparently, this guy is roommates with one of the most infamous paranormals in history. Good old dark tentacles Mr. No-Face. Maybe you've heard of him, maybe you haven't. This isn't going to be one of my normal scriptings, since this happened recently. That, and I actually wasn't assigned to script their interrogation. Like hell, I'd let someone else script this. I had a bone to pick with this guy, and I wanted answers. I swung open the door to the room overseeing the interrogation. Fred, the current script, looked at me in confusion. You've been reassigned, Fred. I'm taking this one. Go take the rest of the day off. He looked at me with suspicion, but nodded and left quickly. I overheard him mention something about a lucky lady he's going to meet. I didn't exactly catch it. My mind was preoccupied. Joseph, a man that had moved in with a paranormal being. At the time, they didn't realize who or what their roommate was. Soon after he found out, he was introduced to many more of these beings, one of which murdered his wife. Instead of wanting vengeance from the one who did it, they went after the organization who hired them. Due to Joseph's interference with one of our main partners, we stepped in, questioning him. I didn't bother to see who was interrogating Joseph. I wanted to listen to this. I don't care for that, my child. I refuse to call him. That name, it doesn't suit what kind of creature he truly is. Out of respect, I'll call him Kent. Happy? The way I see it, you owe it to me to call him Terry. You guys are the ones who forced me to come here. Hell, I could have just called up Abraham or Megami or something to get you dickwads off my tits. I doubt he and his companions would have any respect or any desire to protect your life. A mere human. Megami's a bit iffy, but she doesn't let those Marine guys leave me behind. I think Abraham is even friends with one of them. Pretty sure his name is Dexter. So Abraham probably has connections to the other two. Anyway, my point is I know plenty of entities that would help me if I really wanted them to. In our report, we've not been able to find the 3 operatives who coincidentally found you. Not even their organization came up. Well, technically, there were 4 to begin with, but something happened, and Terry killed one of them. But yeah, I couldn't find anything on my end either. Very well. We have ways to find out. Now I'm certain you can keep a secret, correct? I don't make any promises like that unless I know what I'm signing myself up for. You may not have a choice in this matter. Given your experience with these beings, we would find it most beneficial if you were to take a job with us. Of course, you'd be sworn to absolute secrecy. Well, how do I put this simply? Oh, I know. Fuck that shit. The interrogator sighed deeply. I am losing my patience, child. A simple yes or no should suffice. Sorry, I thought I made myself clear. That would be a no from me. That wasn't so hard, was it? Fine. We're done here. Oh, hell no. I'm not done here just to hear a few questions. The bane of my jealousy sat 1 sheet of glass away, and I would be damned if I didn't get the answers I wanted. I violently opened the door and walked into the interrogation room without a care. The interrogator was about to speak until they saw the rage in my face. Sorry, not sorry. I still have a few questions I want to ask. You can script this one for the records. I sat across from the bane of my existence. His smug grin fueled my rage. Yet I withheld my murderous desire. They sighed with impatience. Another one? Come on! Nice to finally meet you, Joe. I've read up on your background, even your posts online. Strange how they seem to have been hidden from everyone else's prying eyes. First off, I know I'm gonna sound like the doc here, but don't call me Joe. As for it being hidden from people, I wouldn't exactly agree with that. I mean, Terry found it, so it can't be that hard to find. Fine, Joseph. If they're that easy to find, then someone is choosing to hide them from our servers. I'll look into that. As for your posts themselves, 1, how are you still alive after all of that? And 2, have you received any punishments from your last posts at all? Someone wanting you to keep these things a secret, perhaps? Well, if you actually did read the post, then you should know that I wasn't alone. I went into the bunker with Terry and some other entities. Had I been alone, I could understand your confusion. But seriously, did you actually do any research on the entities I was with? You guys are basically Men in Black. Don't you dare compare us to those space missionaries. Has it occurred to you to use that bunker? Why did monsters have targets to kill, and not humans carrying out the work instead? And you and your goons destroyed one of our favorite bases. If it was one of your bases, why were some of the United States superhuman guys there to take the leader? It's hard keeping track of all these story arcs. I'm the one asking questions here. It's normal for us to deal with other organizations to take out unruly employees who begin to have their own plans. I'm not even sure why he killed your wife. The mention of Joseph's wife made him glare at me. His joking habits were no longer present. Hey, don't bring her into this. Shouldn't this interview just be about what happened that night? Of course it should be. But you were asked those questions already. People get bored of answering the same questions over and over, which is why I wanted to personally talk with you. An air of regret was held as I tried to form my reason for being here. Well, then, as for your second question, that would have to be a no, lest you count Terry making fun of my childhood karate lessons. No punishment for posting it online? So, you gotten off scot-free then. To be honest, I'm jealous. My gaze shifted to the cast around my broken arm. Oh, I get it. You must be doing the same shtick then. But since you work for the government, you got punished for doing it. Since you work in a paranormal division of the government, you can't tell anyone in the land of the living how your arm got broken. I'm sure this Dexter you mentioned can find a way to tell you that story. Also, you hit the nail right on the head. So, Mr. Immortal Joseph, How and why? I prefer the term semi-immortal, but how and why? How did you find yourself in this paranormal world? Before your wife, before Terry? And why do you choose to continue in it instead of normality? Well, you could say it started with my wife when... He took a sip from his water. When Jeff killed her. A few months later, I just needed somewhere to live for cheap, found a good deal and took it. That's when I met Terry. He was pretty cool, a closeted weeb, but aren't we all? I rubbed the back of my neck in embarrassment. Perhaps some are willing to admit to having ancient sword collections. By the way, by weeb, what anime posters are you referring to? Anything specific? Fuck! I never saw them when I beat Terry at Magic since Abraham sent us. Never mind. Back to the topic at hand. I chose to stick with paranormal life because, at this point, I think I'm a little too deep to get out. Also, life is a whole hell of a lot more interesting when you get to meet things like skinwalkers and sirens on a daily basis. Fair enough. Being too deep with this world only gives you one out. Not a pleasant option. You've answered the question of working here. You like your freedom. Wise decision. I glanced through the glass at the scriptwriter. I waved my hand over my neck, telling him to cut off my last phrase. I looked back to Joseph as he posed what I suspect are his last words here. What's with all this PFBI stuff anyway? It would make way more sense if it were FBPI. Think about it. The Federal Bureau of Paranormal Investigation sounds way better than Paranormal Federal Bureau of Investigation. It makes you guys sound like you're all paranormal rather than you're researching paranormal phenomena. I stared at Joseph blankly for several seconds. My slack jaw felt like I could hit the table. Are you trying to get me killed? How? Was switching around the letters alone not enough for secrecy? And you figured it out that easily? Called it. I know the government is stupid, but there's no way that that's stupid. You'd be surprised. No one here has found your posts. Otherwise, they'd have the answers, and you wouldn't be here. Either people here are dumb as hell, or someone hacked us to hide them. He leaned back in his chair, letting out a sigh. Are we done here then? Doc says I need to take it easy, and this isn't exactly the vacation of my dreams. You still have 12 hours remaining for your detainment. Then we shall return your belongings, and you may return home. Can't have you calling the Paranormal Avengers on us. Well, are you gonna keep asking me questions or what then, Mr. Bossman? I turned back towards the glass, signaling that the interrogation was over. Afterwards, Joseph and I sat for a couple of hours more and talked about anything and everything. I left soon after allowing him to sleep for the rest of his stay. Confronting the target of my hatred felt enlightening, strangely enough. Not sure for how much longer I can mess around until the new superiors settle everything. Oh well. I've got more posts to find online. Until next time, I'm your friendly PFBI guy. Part 5. Hey there. Sorry for the lack of any posts in a month. Our networks have been constantly crashing out on an hourly basis. I've tried to post again and again, but it kept failing. It'll be a miracle if this one gets through. My superiors still haven't done anything as of yet. As far as I'm aware, Selena is back, and is quite the news. The way she told me is how I'm going to surmise it as either good news or bad news. The good news is, she's gotten in contact with a friend of ours in the hacking division. Onyx. He's probably the best hacker I've ever witnessed. I'm assuming that's an alias, but I could be wrong. He's kind of a half-human, half-eldritch, or something like that. I'm also expecting that little shit's to be the one behind the constant internet issues. He's been able to hack inside our entire network and blind everyone here from my posts. I'm thankful for that, which means I could give you guys the details to our more secure files. It's quite tempting. I would feel more inclined to do so were I feeling generous, but I'm not, so I won't. I can't just give you dessert for a meal. Now for the bad news. After some snooping around, Selena found an experimental testing facility. Apparently, what I've come to understand about this place might not be entirely accurate. From her description, she saw something terrifying in a massive test tube. It was essentially a giant, an incredibly muscular humanoid figure about 15 feet in height. Covering its forearms, legs, and joints were bone-like plating. Its body was covered in scars. illuminated loading bar hovered above the tank. It read, "Compression 85%. It sounded like we're keeping more monsters here than I originally thought was possible. Selena also caught a glimpse of our new CEO. He was a gentleman in a very nice suit. Behind him was a giant, buff, elderly man. Listening to her, I think that might be his bodyguard or something. She also told me something strange. Her other self, that was always so calm, was petrified with fear after seeing the duo. I was shocked to even consider her feeling any level of fear. Her eyes told a different story. She seemed genuinely terrified of our new boss. So I found another of my old scriptings. This one was covered with redacted statements, which is irritating as hell. It would be impossible to read if we didn't have access to some forbidden technology. I'll try to explain this one in particular. You might be familiar with time travel, maybe not. We have something like a microwave that we put a variety of items inside. Let's say you have 1 bit of food left, but you want seconds. Throw the food in the microwave, press start, and stop when you feel like it. It only affects the flow of time within the microwave itself. For example, the food would restore itself inside, but the food in your stomach wouldn't disappear. So I threw in the scripting to remove all the redacted markings. That's only one of the devices we have here. Anyway, I can now reread it clearly. This case was my first Esper I'd ever seen. She was a lovely young woman in her early 30s, Susan. She led a seemingly normal life, had a few kids, a loving husband, and worked from home. Her activity late at night is what caught our attention. She catfished men, old and young, who were drawn to her, all who have died within a week of meeting her. All deaths were caused by burns throughout their body. Interrogating her was Fred. I'm not sure how or why, but Fred has a vast knowledge on how people's brains work after just a few words from them. He guessed all of my passwords after a single syllable from me. I changed them constantly because of that prick.
Hello, Miss Susan. You're probably wondering why you're here. Please, Susan is fine. And yes, I'm curious as to why. I haven't broken any laws, have I?
Why, in fact, you have. Quite an egregious sin indeed.
What do you mean?
Susan, how many men have you communicated with over the many years of marriage you've had with your husband?
None.
I'm very happily married. The corpses we've found would prove the opposite. The last person they had each contacted was you. How odd. You aren't hiding anything, are you? A secret, perhaps?
What corpses are you talking about? I've hardly spoken to another man after my husband placed a ring on my finger. We've only had daughters as well.
Very well. How about I just read a conversation you've had with one of the victims? Hi, Susan. I'm free this Saturday night if you don't have anything planned. Hi, Mark. I don't have a car to head anywhere. What if we just Skype chat Saturday night? I'll make it worth your while. Well, Susan, does 9 o'clock work? Yes. See you then. Sunday, Mark failed to show up for work at noon. Someone checked his house and found him dead in front of his computer. Both him and the machine looked burnt to a crisp. Hardly anything could be taken from the hard drives for solid evidence, but we have our ways. This case, and many others, all point to you.
Oh, that's all? You do realize you can't imprison me for this? It burns to death? With what evidence can you incriminate me?
We don't exist. We can do whatever we want. We aren't completely heartless. I'm willing to offer you a choice. Work for us, and put your skills to a better use.
Susan sat and stared at Fred for a minute, completely silent. The hairs on my arms and back of my neck began to stand on end. They felt strangely full of energy.
How about this? I kill you, and everyone here, and leave.
The lights hanging above her erupted as electricity shot towards her. Like a battery, she absorbed it. Susan then pointed her flexed fingers towards the glass, separating me and her. I ducked instinctively. Bolts of lightning struck the chair where I sat moments ago. I didn't want to look back up. Gunfire, as well as screams of agony, filled the room. I chanced to look, more out of stupid curiosity. I saw her electricity stopping the bullets before connecting with her, and forcing them back towards the gunman. Only a few minutes of this passed. As promised, she killed most of us here, and walked out unharmed. Oh, yeah. Right. That's why we redacted all of this. We usually do that for people or beings deemed too dangerous to have any logical dialogue or agreements with. As far as I know, she just went back to living her life as normal. We didn't bother her after that. Another reason I'm sticking with my cat instead of another human. Too unpredictable. Well, that's about what's happened lately. I'll try to look through to find another scripting to tell you about. I'm still waiting for any commands this monkey suit boss man will have for me. Until then, I'm your friendly PFBI guy.
Part 6.
Hey guys, something very interesting happened recently. So I was called to see the new CEO of the company. It's kind of odd that no one else has ever met the man yet. Only the rumors passed around. I reluctantly and kind of excitedly went to see what was so important that required my presence specifically. It took some time to get to the inner sanctum of the building. It was protected by a large door with a scanner for security. It scanned me and opened very slowly. Horror movies? Inside, I saw rows of test tubes with humanoid figures inside, each with various loading percentages displayed above them, along with names. Like regeneration, ignition, manipulation, and many others. In front of me were 3 figures. 2 of them seemed to be arguing, a well-suited man and a large, old, buff guy. The third one seemed to ignore them. He was average height and looked ripped as hell. Patches of his skin looked plated with bone, similar to an ant's exoskeleton. The businessman-looking guy held up his hand to the big guy once he noticed me.
Oh, Mr. Lynch, I've been hearing about you lately. Taking charge in a case you weren't qualified for. Bold, but stupid.
Mind explaining yourself? My body ran cold. His eyes seemed to burrow into my soul. At that moment, any amount of smartassing around disappeared instantly. I had a few questions I wanted to ask. I felt the usual questions wouldn't get what we wanted out of him. That, and I had some information to base my questions off of that no one else had. And yes, I wasn't qualified. I stood there, waiting to be fired, or just expecting to be crushed to death by the big guy. Unexpectedly, the business guy started laughing. Taking initiative as well as having honesty. As unruly as you are, you've my respect for that. Call me Drake. I'm running everything here now. No council of group members, just me and my loyal subjects. Okay. Thank you. I glanced at the 2 others. So, do they have names?
Oh, naturally. Just not normal names as you'd expect.
The big man's my bodyguard, Punisher. What, like Marv?
No, not like the show. I can't count how many people have asked. My Punisher is beyond human capabilities. The other man is my most unruly subject, Beast. The name terrified me. Yet unexpectedly, Beast stuck out his hand to shake. In a sleepy, gravelly voice, he asked, "How do you do?"
Terrified and kind of relieved, actually. Do you even lift? He smirked at that remark. With the name, I was expecting him to be primal. He seemed to be more intellectual.
Ah, yes. I almost forgot why I've called you here, Lynch. I've come to learn of your posts you've been sending, as well as your punishment that followed suit. Completely ridiculous. You've not divulged the actual secrets of this place. Not that it matters anymore. But I promise you, as long as I remain here in my position, you're free to post to your heart's content. No reprimands.
The door behind me began to open again right as he finished. A very lovely but firm Scottish voice came from the direction.
Drake, you bastard, I'm here. What the fuck do you want?
Drake ran his hands through his hair and sighed. Apologies, Lynch. I have other business I have to attend. You may return to your duties.
I turned around and saw quite a stunningly beautiful woman with fiery orange hair and making a beeline towards Drake. She completely ignored me. I left before I could hear what they were discussing. Once I got back, I told Selena everything, wondering what she thought of it. If what you're saying is true, we may be fucked, and not in a good way. I say we, but you should be safe. Safe from what? Not what, but who. There are beings in this reality who haven't even touched this world. If they do, we're kind of almost guaranteed death. Well, if they're from space, not our problem then. I'm serious, Lynch. This isn't a joking matter. Promise me you'll be smart for once, please. Fine, if it makes you not stress out. Good enough. Other than that, I found another one of my old scriptings as well. I completely forgot about this one. It's been a few years since I've seen it. So, a long time ago, our entire network was shut down. It took some time to fix everything and find the cause. We finally traced it back to the source. The signal originated from an abandoned apartment building in New York. We looked into the records. No one had lived there for a very, very long time. A team was sent over to investigate. It took them a week to even find the building. Now, we had the address to the building, and no, I'm not sharing it. The squad goes to the address, and there's just an empty field. 7 days pass, and on the other side of the city, they finally found the place. The apartment building was scoured through, top to bottom. The only strange thing I found there was a solitary room with an old PC, a monitor, a mattress, and a bathroom. After a few minutes, the suspects came out of the bathroom holding their hands up. A kid who looked to be 13 or 14. So we brought him in for questioning, having no other leads. Interrogating him was Katya. She was the last survivor of a long-lost clan. Hardly anything was left to distinguish which tribe it was. From my experience witnessing her, she could read people's souls or auras to see if they told the truth or a lie.
So, kid, what's your name? Onyx, ma'am. I'm guessing you're Katya. I am. So, kid, our entire network went down. It originated from your building. I'm guessing you know what caused it. Of course, I did.
Katya began to grow more baffled and confused as she continued on.
And do you mind explaining how?
Onyx held his hands up. They looked normal. Then they began to separate into thousands of oily, black tendrils. Just as they had disassembled, they rejoined and formed two normal-looking hands.
I can bond with any technology and control it flawlessly. It's like hacking, but more of a living software. More human than an AI. Interesting. How did you find out about your skills? After I was told what my parents were. My dad is an eldritch being. Not sure if he's a god or something. My mother, I think she's human. Or at least somewhat human. After that, I've been experimenting with what I can do. Like completely shutting down an entire network and power grid for a week. Oh, that. Yeah. I was just flexing. I could have done a lot worse. And I don't think you're all that special. You guys aren't the only ones I hack. And I don't feel like stopping. And what if I threatened you with going to prison for people like you? Well, Katya, we both know I'm of more use free than I would be behind bars, or cages, or energy-based boxes, or underwater prisons of ancient technology. What I can give to you, and other organizations, is information, as well as an occasional favor or two. Unless you'd like your network shut down for a year.
Rereading this, I couldn't believe the cockiness of this little shit. But he was right. Feeling powerless, we just let him go to his own devices. As he promised, he's been giving us info on other organizations, as well as helping me out with a favor or two. Having a hacker friend is interesting, to say the least. I know this is a long post, but I couldn't just keep this to myself. It's way too much to keep inside my head. Whatever's coming, I hope I survive this. Until next time, I'm your friendly PFBI guy. Part 7. Hey there. Sorry for the delay. It's been crazy over here. So all of us here were assigned as field agents for a week. From what I heard, it was to test how well our physical abilities were given any situation. My arms are covered in stitches. I guess that tells you how unskilled I am. Selena isn't here, though. Her and a select few who were also incredibly skilled were reassigned. I'm not sure where, though. I can't help but think we're getting ready for a fight or something. I've yet to receive any direct orders from Mr. Monkey Suit himself. I know he reads these things, and I'm feeling a bit more brave lately. I think that one guy might have rubbed off on me a bit. Good old Joseph, inspiring me to possibly be more suicidal in my idiocy. So, I found a safe hidden beneath my desk the other day. Strange, I've no recollection of that being there. I randomly guessed at the code, a date burned into the back of my mind, a day in mid-June, a few years back. I can't think of anything special that day. I can't really remember anything before this job, actually. Inside was a stack of folders, each labeled with a year. I opened the oldest of them, randomly plucking out a file, an old script. Here's what it read. Suspect in question, Subject 707, George. Human appearance, yet something else we've yet to determine. Classified as safe to interact with, while also possessing great strength to decimate any structure. To blend in with society, they've taken up a job both normal and strange. The individual owns a company that purchases haunted locations. They destroy the structure, rebuild it, and sell it. No reports of anything paranormal follow once sold. In the latest deconstruction project, a few of his workers were killed. George is being charged with murder, yet there's no bodies left to prove it. No amount of evidence could incriminate him. Interrogating him was Seven, a sharpshooter who does various jobs for many organizations. He's been reported dead many times before, just to appear on base the next day as if nothing happened. I'm guessing here, but I think he's a vampire. I saw him drinking something red once. After he didn't show any signs of being drunk, I presumed it wasn't wine.
3 of your crewmates gone, just like that. No notice of vacation, sick leaves, or emergencies. Look, they all quit on me. Just like that. Caught me completely off guard. I don't know anything else. From our research, you keep tabs on everything you interact with. Their families, wives, kids, friends, hell, even their exes. You know everything about the people who work for you. Yet, you didn't see this coming. I highly doubt that. Okay, fine. I was expecting them to quit one by one. It would be the first of 3 of my guys quitting at once. I'd expect they would cause the rest of the crew to do the same. Which is why they didn't have a chance to quit, did they?
George glared at Seven. I'd imagine he wanted to rip him to pieces.
Damn.
Seven leaned back in the chair with satisfaction.
So, old-timer, how'd you do it? You've got something special. How else did all their bodies disappear? Hell, no blood was found at all, either. Want to explain that?
Were I to tell you, it wouldn't be much of a secret anymore.
We have ways to keep it secret.
Oops. George shifted in his seat a bit. He looked to his right, gesturing to someone I couldn't see. Rolling his eyes, he continued.
Do you know what a soul is?
That's the weird spirit thing inside everyone that keeps them alive, right?
Yes and no. It's a currency. Priceless to someone like yourself, yet it has its own value.
Elaborate, if you would.
Certainly. From what I can sense in this room, you have the second strongest soul. It suits your immortal body well.
He didn't just say what I think he did.
I have the strongest soul here. That would put the value of my own soul to be the highest. That leaves the man behind the glass to have the weakest soul here.
Yep, he said it.
I don't know how knowing the value of one's soul relates to how you murdered them.
Patience. I'm getting there. I didn't feel those workers gave me enough of their time, so I decided to take what I could. I staged an accidental death as I took care of them. Their bodies were pulverized instantly, too quick to leave even red mist. I collected their souls and left to find my dealer. He gave me a price for them, and I left with a hefty sum of cash.
Seven looked beyond pissed at what he heard.
Do you not care for who they were? Their families, friends, and you took it away from them because they didn't give enough of their time working for you?
George was terrifyingly calm during Seven's yelling.
Sit down, child. I can easily swipe your life away if I so desire. Listen before you begin to judge.
Seven sat back down, a look of fear in his eyes I've never seen before.
I took that money and gave it to their families and friends as an insurance policy. Listen well as I say this. We've been hired for a massive project, and I don't plan to miss the deadline. I'm leaving this place to continue my work. Whether that is through killing you all, or by you letting me go, is up to you. And don't think for a second I can't kill something immortal.
Please don't ask me if they fought it out or not. I have a vague memory of this. I can't recall all the details, though. Strange, I could have sworn that George guy got me a pretty good deal on my house, actually. It's hurting my head trying to think about it. Anyway, I gotta go. I'll be back when I can. Until then, stay safe from your friendly PFBI guy. Part 8. Hey there. Sorry if I come across something strange. Ever since I opened that damn safe, my head's been killing me. I've lost track of how many headache pills I've tried to take. I've tried to reach out to Joseph, asking him to ask the doctor for any suggestions. So far, no luck. As for the office, it's beyond strange. Hardly anyone's here. Like, almost nobody. It's not like I missed a memo for a vacation to the beach or something. I don't even remember hearing any rumors of Mr. Monkey Suit himself going on a raid, firing people. I wish I knew what was going on. Hell, I haven't heard from Selena for a long time either. I'm hoping nothing bad happened. She's not the person to write or anything. If she wanted to tell you something, she'd go and tell you in person to make sure she was understood. With no one there to answer the doorbell kept ringing. Which is strange, considering I didn't even think we had a doorbell. If you know the asinine feeling of walking to a door a football field away while the doorbell is constantly ringing, you'd understand my rage during that walk. I pushed the big red button that says, "Push in case of guests." Afterwards, a giant bunker door slid open slowly as hell. As if people didn't have enough time already. In the distance, I saw two silhouettes walking inside. I was already agitated and didn't want to wait, so I walked to them. Sorry about that. It seems like everyone went on a sudden vacation. Prisoner transfer?
You could say that.
The man stated in a gruff, monotone voice.
What's your rank? I need someone reliable to take this pain in the ass off my hands.
Hey, I thought you were cool, Joe said, looking at the burly man. My rank's classified, even to outside organizations. Besides, I'm the only one here. No one else is going to take this pain in the ass anyway.
Well, this kid ain't exactly human anymore. I doubt you could keep him in check.
The man said, giving me a once-over. What choice do I have? Either you leave him with me, or you can be his babysitter as I walk you two in. Anyway, I know this guy. We had a chat some time ago. I looked back to Joseph. Do you know the term USPM? Never mind. I outrank you either way. How else do you think I found this location? Dex. I mean, it was really easy to find with my skills.
Are you guys really just ignoring me?
Joseph sounded irritable. My eyes lit up at hearing the term USPM. I recall reading about them in the Reddit posts. I wanted to screw with this guy. I don't know why, I just did. Would your skills include losing your arm? Personally, I'd put that as a lower rank considering my own skills of keeping my limbs attached. My eyes shifted to my arm, finally healed after Selena broke it. Ah, good times.
Listen here, you little shit.
He was getting pissed. I had to hide my smile. I lost this arm thanks to Abraham. I learned my lesson trying to tangle with someone who would turn you into Swiss faster than you could say Mississippi. The pounding of my headache brought me to my senses, as fun as this was. Look, my head's killing me. Are you coming in with him or not? Leave him if you want. I doubt he'll make any more trouble than you're making him out to be. Whatever. Joseph, I'm leaving you here. Cause any problems, and you'll have a terrible day. Before he left, though, the man approached me. He was much more intimidating up close. Take this. If you're such a high rank, you'll know what to do with it. He whispered into my ear before heading out the way he came. Looking at it, it was a helmet of sorts. Holding it in my hands felt familiar somehow, though I don't recall seeing it before. I looked towards Joseph and gestured my head towards the building. Come on, the fridge is full of food about to spoil this week. Finally, someone's actually acknowledging my existence. I could really go for something to eat right about now. I'm down. Did you really need someone to acknowledge you for your existence? Damn, man, you've changed. I wasn't sure if I would get the reaction I wanted from him. If the Master Chief asshole said he was a pain, I wanted to see how much. I'm not the one who's changed. He looked like shit. He responded with as little ill intent as someone could have given the meaning. Well, to sum it up, I started dating a coworker. But the little shit cut me off. Oh, well that makes sense. Never date a coworker, my man. Let me freaking finish before you go on a rant, damn it. Anyway, she's broken more bones than I can remember. Yet I still love her, strangely. Met the CEO, everyone disappeared suddenly, then you guys showed up. Oh yeah, I found this strange safe, too. My head's been killing me ever since I read the files in there. You got the doc on speed dial or something? Yeah, I know the feeling. I do have him on speed dial. I've been needing his and Rachel's help so much lately it's kind of necessary. Conveniently, I happen to have a bag they put together for me, just in case anything happened while they were busy. Take this. He handed me a vial of some kind of rancid liquid. What in the holy... Oh, is this edible? I feel I'd rather eat food that's gone bad. The smell is way worse than the taste. Trust me. I stared at him, trying to see any sign of smug in his face. If there was a smile, he hid it well. I drank the liquid. My stomach felt like it was punched by a gorilla, then tossed in the ocean and used as shark bait. Oh, I might kill you. And the good thing is, there's no witnesses. Wait, he said in a panic. I think I accidentally gave you the one that makes you sterile. Why in the hell would the doctor put that in your medicine bag? Did he want to ruin your life? Do you want to ruin my life? Now I know you're bullshitting me. As I was yelling, I felt my head no longer hurt. No, wait, you're good. I just remembered I was fucking with you. Clearly. Look, let's get some food. I haven't eaten for a few hours. Yeah, I haven't eaten in a few days. Some food would be nice. He responded matter-of-factly. We entered the kitchen shortly after. Joseph's eyes stared at the multitude of gadgets we had just lying around, as if they beckoned to him to mess with them. Go ahead, touch them, find out what happens, I said, as I headed for the fridge getting some food. I feel like I'm probably gonna get shocked, but Rachel said my soul's more resilient than before, so I'm gonna touch him anyway. He proceeds to approach the gadgets. After picking one up and meddling with it, he was disappointed to find nothing happened. Ah, the good old fake gadget trick. You think we just leave stuff like that out in the open? We keep that shit under lock and key? Anyway, take your pick. I pointed towards the fridge. Weirder things have happened. Not many people expect to see their wife dead in front of them twice, or their wife's murderer sacrificing themselves for their friends. Gotta be real. Weirder things have happened than gadgets laying around, he said while rummaging through the fridge. I wanted to comfort him, at the same time be a smartass about it. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that. If I were to give you an award for most depressing backstory of the year, you'd take second. Robot arm would take first for having to deal with you. Post-trauma is basically my base setting now. Also, fuck you, he retorted. Yes, so there is a God. Well then, thank you, God, for helping me to manage to piss off this thorn in my side. I tried my damnedest to hide my smile. Anyway, just make sure to put your food in this microwave. Put it in negative time, not forward time. You want to eat your food, not make a science experiment with it.
Negative time? What is it, some kind of time machine microwave?
He said with a laugh. That's exactly what it is. And don't go crazy with this one.
Oh, okay.
He proceeded to put it in for -4 weeks. He opened the microwave, seeing a living chicken inside. To say he was astonished would be an understatement. Well, you went too far back. Just move it forward a couple weeks. Should be good, I said nonchalantly. Joseph looked at me like I didn't see a chicken inside a microwave. Because I didn't. I saw food. Look, don't judge me. This isn't the darkest shit I've seen, okay?
Wish I could have said I hadn't done something weirder,
he responded before closing the microwave and setting it forward for 2 weeks. I reverse cooked my food in the microwave and sat down to eat as well. So how's your chicken? Any feathers?
Not of my knowledge. Hey, do you guys have steak here? I'm getting a real hankering for some red meat,
he said, mouthful of a drumstick. Are you planning to eat an entire farm? I asked, though his appetite looked like it wouldn't slow down anytime soon.
Look, I haven't eaten in 3 days, and apparently, when your soul gets stronger, you need more food to keep it up.
He suddenly went soap opera on me.
Is that what you want? Your best friend in this sad, empty building dying in front of you? So you can mourn and cry over the one person who understood you?
He was slowly making his way back to the fridge. Okay, freeloader, eat what you want. Just throw the food back in the microwave to return the food back to food before putting it back in the fridge. I don't want to explain it. Just do it. You'll see why.
Whatever,
he said, before throwing an old ribeye on the plate and tossing it into the microwave. What concoction are you thinking of? I said, as I eyed the plate suspiciously. He turned slowly with a cocky grin plastered across his face.
Chicken steak,
was all he said. A thought entered my mind after he said that. What would it become if it went backwards too far? A mischievous smile plastered my face at that. When it went off, he pulled the steaming pile of... I don't even know how to describe it.
It's probably edible,
he said, before taking a bite of it before even sitting down.
This is the best thing I've ever tasted. You want some?
No, thank you. I've tasted something better. The enjoyment of pissing off others. So satisfying. I can taste that all day and not get tired of it. Joseph suddenly became serious, which looked weird since he still had a mouthful of chicken steak.
So, are we gonna get down to business or what? I know the government didn't bring me here to enjoy this glorious masterpiece.
There it was, what I've been trying to ignore. I sighed as I thought back to the device still in my possession. Yeah, finish what you got on your plate and wipe your face clean. Then we'll get this over with.
You can just interview me right now. I already told the USPM everything after they abducted me. Now that I think of it, shouldn't you guys be sharing information since you're both government-led organizations?
His voice was far too carefree, given what I knew came next. Not exactly. I've requested anything I and you post hidden from the prying eyes of my fellow coworkers. Had a favor from a hacker friend of mine. I need to get my typewriter from my desk so I can properly type this out. Procedure.
A hacker friend? Is it Dexter?
He asked with a surprising amount of enthusiasm. No, a younger guy. Onyx, I'm not sure how to spell it. He's the son of an eldritch being and a human or something like that.
Oh, no clue who that is. But at the same time, it sounds the same either way you pronounce it. Just go get the typewriter. Terry might start fucking shit up if he doesn't know where I am.
He paused momentarily.
At least, I hope he will.
Semantics. And I doubt anything stronger than a Hulk on super steroids could scratch that door. Anyway, I'll be back. I walked to my desk and picked up the old typewriter as well as a few sheets of blank paper. I placed them on a cart. Before moving to the kitchen, I took out the headpiece and analyzed it. The letters etched on the inside read PHI. Weird. Wouldn't it read USPM? Looking at the device felt so familiar. It caused a dull pain to form in my head.
Let's get this over with before my head kills me. I wheeled the papers and typewriter back to the kitchen. I saw an ungodly pile of food scraps on the table upon arrival. All right, what's the first question on the list? He asked with a loud belch. What the hell happened to your stomach? Just a little bloated's all? Is that really the first question? No, just a warm-up, I said as I loaded the typewriter with paper. All right, first question. How long ago did this event happen? Followed by you explaining what happened and with who. He got another chicken steak before sitting back down to answer the question. Like a month and a half ago or so. Mayroyd was fucking up everyone pretty bad when Chad and I got there. He shook what I assume used to be the drumstick around before continuing. Seriously, she had everyone on the ropes, using some dude's body to copy people and then make clones of souls she's taken in the past. Oh, I also got bit by what used to be my wife, and the doc and Rachel had to use their medicine skills to prevent me from dying by becoming a vampire. He took another bite of the drumstick, signaling he was done. Hold up, you're a fucking what now? No, they had to stop me from becoming one, but some of the effects still went through. Slightly boosted physical strength, a stronger soul, and now I kinda need to have steak every day. That's about it, though. I don't even have fangs or anything like that. So that's how you're gonna spend your paychecks now, on steak. Think you'll have enough for rent? Or are you planning on eating yourself out of a home? Look, I'm not qualified to interrogate someone, but no one else is here. Bold of you to assume I have a job. This whole PFBI thing kinda kept me from getting a job. Every time I would get an interview, you guys would hack into my computer to try and get me to join you. He took another bite. But now I can probably join up with any one of those paranormal organizations that kill people. He paused. I'm joking, okay? I still got my human morals. You still got your smart-ass remarks as well. Next question. Were there any other organizations there with you? Yeah, the USPM was there. Tucker, Dexter, and Jacob. I don't know if you'll have to redact that, but hey, more work for you. As if my work's gotten any easier. Next question. Who brought you here and why? Also, how the hell did they find this place? Jacob, the guy that came in with me? Then there were some men in black looking men. He wasn't really the talkative type. That still leaves my previous question. Why'd he bring you here and not to his base? And how the hell did he find this place? No one's supposed to find it. No one. Well, Jacob seems pretty high on the corporate ladder. I presume he got the information from either one of his hacker buddies or he's a higher rank than you think. As for why I'm here, the only thing they told me is that you guys would have more questions for me. They wouldn't elaborate. Interesting. Is there anything you feel is missing? Something I haven't asked? Anything at all? I was expecting a smart-ass answer out of him. God knows what he'd say during a food coma. Yeah, there actually was one other thing. The house we were in, is it possible for a building to be alive? Because from what I saw, it was ever-changing. The way it screamed when we burned it down gave me chills. I'd have to ask a friend about that. He might be able to fix it. It's not your house, is it? I'm not who you talk to for that. No, it was Mayroyd's, but we already burned it down. There's likely not much you can salvage from it, no matter who your friend is. Fair enough. Only one last thing I need from you. It's a newly implemented rule and a pain in the ass, but procedure. I readied the headpiece out of Joseph's line of sight. What's this gonna do? Read my mind or something? If it is, you probably don't want to see what it's saying right now. He let out a laugh. It's a more accurate truth machine, not that heartbeat brainwave reader. Here, try it on, and let's test it. Alright, beam me up, Scotty. I set the piece on his head, fastening it tight to ensure it wouldn't fall off. Okay, first question. Do you hate my guts? Honestly, you're probably the only human that can't gut me like a fish in half a second. All in all, you're an alright guy, just following orders? The device did nothing. Must have forgotten to turn it on. Let me just flip this switch. As I did, Joseph began to violently shake. His eyes rolled to the back of his head. It looked as if his body was being electrocuted. The process lasted for a few seconds, then it stopped as suddenly as it started. Joseph sat hunched over, barely conscious. A few seconds later, he slowly lifted his head and looked at me, bewildered. He looked around, filled with curiosity. Joseph, you okay in there? Huh? Are you talking to me? Why do I feel slightly pissed off? Who else would I be talking to? The realization began to settle in my mind. I had just erased Joseph's mind and memory. The pain in the ass, the thorn in my side, was no more. It had filled me with loneliness rather than joy. I don't really know why I'm here. Sorry, did I hit my head or something? Yeah, something like that. Hey, do you have a phone on you? I don't know. Maybe. He checked his front pockets and pulled one out. This what you're looking for? I tried to stop myself from quivering. Yeah. I need you to find a contact by the name of Terry. I need you to call them and hand me the phone. Yeah, sure. 1 second. He scrolled to the contact list, which was surprisingly long. This one that says "you know" next to it? Yeah. Hit the dial and I'll do the talking. Oh shit. I didn't know how the hell I'd be walking out of this alive. Alright, calling. He handed me the phone. I held the phone to my ear and turned away so that Joseph couldn't hear the discussion. Halfway through the first ring, the receiver picked up. Joseph, where the fuck are you? He sounded like a mom, worried but angry. Is this the legendary Slender Man, also known as Terry? I was trying not to shit my pants, anticipating his response. This is Terry, yes. Who might this be? I know you want Joseph. I could practically hear the static coming to the receiver. An employee of the PFBI, one who would consider Joseph a friend, which is why I called you. I can't recall him talking about any human friends. What happened? If you give the wrong answer, I am prepared to kill you. He definitely planted malice in those words. You're focusing your rage at the right person, but the wrong organization. By request of the USPM, Joseph wants to be interrogated. Afterwards, I was shaking from the terror of what I was trying to say. Always with the USPM. One moment they want to help us take down a murderer. Next, they're trying to take care of a liability. The intent was poorly hidden within his words. I hope you don't mind telling me where you are right now. That wouldn't help at this point. After the interrogation, his... Oh shit, how do I say this? His memory was wiped. Joseph, as you know him, is gone. I gulped, anticipating being killed from the phone. No, you don't understand. That group was using you to handle their dirty work, along with all the paperwork. They're likely waiting for the right time to show back up. I listened to the empty hallways, trying to hear any sound of intruders or the like inside the building. Nothing. Yet, at least. We don't have the manpower to fight them off, nor to refuse their request. They'll likely destroy his phone if I give it to him to track his location. Any ideas? Hold on. Abraham just showed back up from his search. There was a muffled discussion going on between the two of them until he came back on the line. Alright. I just need you to stay on the line a little bit longer. Abraham is getting your location. The hell is this? A PFBI location bargaining sale? Alright, please have a full battery. I looked. About 25% remained. Echoes of metallic thuds began to resound in the distance. It sounded like it came from the front of the building. Just use the damn doorbell, asshats. Just stay on the line for 10 more seconds and we'll head there right away. Just so you know, if you're lying to us, there are fates worse than death. A large sound came from the entrance, followed by men barking orders. What the hell kind of firepower are these guys packing? I barricaded the kitchen as best I could. Joseph looked scared and confused from the situation. Hey, Terry, you might want to teleport, like, now.
I don't have government funding for that kind of stuff. I live in an apartment, for fuck's sake. I'm heading over in Abraham's car, though we have a shortcut. Try not to die. He hung up after that. Sure, yeah, like it's that simple. The kitchen door began to crack under the pressure of the armor I presumed they were wearing. I pressed my back against the door, hoping beyond hope that it would hold. Seconds later, the door splintered apart. I flung forward, my face smashing into the fridge. I blacked out after that. I woke up with a throbbing pain in my head. Of course it's back. My eyes adjusted to two figures standing over me, a freakishly tall and pale figure with no face, as well as an armor-clad knight from some time in the past.
Well, it appears this man's not dead yet, wouldn't you say, Terry?
The armored knight said.
I guess not. He got pretty fucked up, though. Are you the one I spoke with on the phone?
Now that he was relaxed, his voice seemed unnervingly normal. Oh, you must be terribly sorry about Joseph.
I felt the fear return as I recalled my failure to save Terry's friend. Don't worry. We saw how the entrance was demolished. No way a human like you could do something like that. It's strange that the government would send itself after itself, though. You got oil here or something? Terry asked.
Probably in the fridge.
It didn't sound too ridiculous, considering what it held. It was a joke. Never mind. It's time to get serious. Did they leave anything behind that can help us track them down?
I thought back to the interrogation, the headpiece, the phone, the typewriter. Hell, we didn't even have security here. The head memory thing, though it's probably broken. The phone, unless it somehow survived the blast. Should have got a Nokia. Maybe they left the typewriter. I can't think of anything else.
The headpiece should do fine, boy. Thank you for your assistance. If I might take the broken piece, I can fix it up. I helped design it myself, after all.
The armored man said in a rather cocky tone. I searched the pile of shattered wood, pre-clean hopes and dreams. I found the headpiece broken and in pieces, as well as the scripting. I considered keeping it for the collection, then thought of a better purpose for it. I handed the items to Terry. Here, take the scriptings. I hope it helps him remember something. The armored man delicately took the headset from me.
Thank you.
He took my hand and shook it with what was probably minimal force for him, but my hand and arm still hurt afterwards.
The name's Abraham. Good luck with whatever finds you in the future.
I really do appreciate this. Should any information come up, I'm sure you'll let us know. I shook Terry's hand as well, appreciating the fact he didn't feel like crushing my hand. They left with a wave and left the building. I plopped down on the ground and reflected on what had just happened. I'm glad I'm not the janitor. Anyway, that's what happened lately. I'm just gonna sit here for a bit until my body stops hurting as much. Until then, I'm your tired and in pain PFBI guy.
Part 9.
Hey there. Feels like some time has passed. My head feels like it's getting worse. Each pulse of my heartbeat causes a wave of pain. Kinda wish I had more of that liquid stuff from before. Anyway, I'm sure you're not just reading this for my agitated ramblings. I've gone through all the files from the safe. About a fifth of them are printed Reddit posts from this hunter. I took the time and put them on Reddit. Another fifth are some scriptings I've barely any memory from, even though they're labeled with my credentials. The other 60% is a collection of files numerically ordered. Each of them have the letters PHI on the corners. Project Hunters International is my best guess. The files themselves look to be a collection of mostly humanoid beings called subjects. I found George's file amongst them as well. He seemed pretty damn human to me. There was also an elderly woman bearing striking resemblance to Selena. That file had an envelope attached to it, which I set it aside to read later. Hell, I found the current CEO listed here, his bodyguard, and a scary-looking monster thing that shared the name of the beast. One face caught my attention, one that caused my mind to burn with pain. A gorgeous woman with red and white hair. She felt familiar. I couldn't remember why. I set the file down and held my head in my hands. I needed answers, and only one idea to start from. I reached out to Onyx and asked him to find out what he knew about the PHI. While I waited, I found the oldest script. Here's what I read. June 30th. Year. Redacted. We've finally found our target. Franklin Redacted. Otherwise known as Scotch. An ex-hunter who abandoned his duties quite some time ago. One who has encountered quite a few individuals we are after. His capture was easier than we had expected, considering his experience. Our arrival on their property held hardly any troubles. No hidden mines, no explosives on the doors and windows, no scarred man, arms to the teeth, ready to fight us off. Instead, the house was defenseless. Inside was a man, confused and terrified at our presence, petrified in his chair. He hardly put up a fight as we brought him in for interrogation. However, our efforts seemed pointless. After countless hours of questions, threats, torture, and deal offers, he's yet to give us any information we were after. This document is our last hope of getting any answers out of him. Scotch sat at the end of the chrome table. He was covered in scars and bruises. His eyes were puffy and dark from his lack of sleep. Sitting across from him was the CEO, an elderly woman in business attire. She seemed fed up with the amount of progress. Her eyes stared daggers into Scotch. She tried to find any sign to use to her advantage.
Franklin, I'm tired of this. I'm more than certain you are as well. This can all stop. You can go back to your life of comfort if you help me.
Scotch sounded empty and defeated as he spoke.
I can't help you. I believe you can. I need you to tell me where he is. I don't know where. I don't even know who the hell it is you're talking about. Your son, Franklin. You agreed to raise him for 18 years. That was the deal. Where is he? I don't have a son.
The chrome table flew towards the wall adjacent from the window. Scotch began to float in midair. Soon after, he was flung into the wall, being held in place by some unseen force. The CEO stood up and began to walk calmly towards him.
18 years ago, I spared your life. You agreed to give him to us once that time was up. It makes sense for you to protect him, as expected of his father. Now, tell me where Franklin is. I'm not Franklin. Really? Because you look and sound a lot like him? You've got the wrong guy, I swear. Oh, then do you mind telling me who you are? I'm Jedediah. I've lived in Idaho for the last 2 decades after my wife passed. I've been trying to tell you for weeks. You have the wrong guy.
Scotch looked feeble, old, and vulnerable, a far cry from the hunter he had been before.
So, it's true then. You really did erase your memories, all to protect your son. I had to be absolutely certain.
She released Scotch from the wall. He slumped over into unconsciousness, her gaze focused on the window.
Clean and heal him up. I want him working for us when he wakes. There's a chance his memories might resurface. Be a dear and keep an eye on him, would you, Fred?
I looked into her eyes to the glass, nodding my head in understandment. I just hope everything we've done and will do will be productive. What the fuck? What? I'm sorry, but this has thrown my mind into a tailspin. I can't think straight. Update you. I'll do when I can sentence right. Then, until I'm a friendly guy called PFBI. Part 10. Hey there, Lynch again. At least I'm 90% sure I'm still Lynch. I can't believe I've been having an identity crisis. I'm a grown-ass man. Anyway, I went ahead and posted some of the papers I found and put them online. I'm not sure if it's my sense of completion or for closure. Honestly, I was tired of looking at them still sitting on my desk. I don't have a script this time, which I apologize for. However, I went straight through the envelope I set aside for later. It was addressed to Selena. As illegal as it might be, I opened and read it. She's not here, and I don't think she'll be coming back. Here's what it read. Dear Selena, happy birthday. I'm writing this in hopes that it reaches you in time for your birthday. I pray you'll get the chance to read this and understand. Our family has been hosting an entity that dwells within one person at a time. Our ancestors have called it the Pilot. Upon the time of my death, it will pass on to the youngest of our bloodline. That is you, unless I'm expecting another grandchild. I hope you live your life as happily as you can, my sweet. I pray you can handle this burden as I have. Stay strong. Love, Grandma. So that would explain her Freaky Friday side. I honestly thought she was majorly bipolar. After quite a lot of physical pain and feeling like I was on the cusp of losing my mind, something good finally happened. My nap was interrupted by shuffling footsteps over broken wood, glass, and metal. Don't ask me why I was sleeping. It's not like my boss is around to punish me. I looked around and saw Beast Guy helping Selena limp towards me. Sitting up, I quickly made room for her on the couch in the kitchen. Technically, it's a break room, but there's a stove and shit, so kitchen it is. She slid and leaned on the arm of the furniture, relaxing until she fell asleep. I looked at Beast. He waved for me to follow him. Quietly, I made my way through the rubble and followed him to the main office deep inside the building. He effortlessly tore through the emergency doors like it was paper. I bet he could rip a telephone book in half. Our footsteps echoed through the large room I had only entered once before. The tanks that were filled with humanoid figures were empty. Ahead, I saw a few leather chairs varying in size. He sat down in one, and I did the same, sitting across from him.
You mind telling me what the hell happened here? This place looks like me on a bad day.
No,
A bad day wouldn't leave any survivors.
Beast gestured to the condition of the base. Just some government assholes who do what they want to get what they want, I said, showing my disdain for certain assholes.
As they do. It's Lynch, right?
Honestly, I don't know anymore. I'm not sure who I am. He looked at me as though he recognized someone from his past, pain reflecting in his eyes.
I see. I'm truly sorry for any pain I've caused you, he said with a sorrow in his voice.
Hey, you haven't broken my bones. That's Selena's specialty, I said with a laugh.
Regardless, I feel you deserve an apology, even if it's considered to be worth nothing.
We all die in the end. Sometimes we don't get to choose if we're brought back. The universal powers can be assholes.
Yeah, they can. I've witnessed just that firsthand. You don't know what happened these last few months, do you?
Not a clue. I honestly thought everyone got tired of my shit and left. I wouldn't blame them if that's the case.
Well, I hope you find joy in knowing it's not. It was much worse than what was expected.
What happened? The vacation boat sink or what? Beast drew in a sigh before continuing.
There was no vacation. We were ordered to leave. Those chosen, at least. Those too weak were slaughtered. He used his co-workers as vessels to house his children's souls. His plan was to build an army to challenge the greater powers that seeked to punish him for his transgressions. His crime was meddling in the creation of a being he could hardly comprehend. The Almighty. Though the punishment would be carried out by Drake's own kind, his fellow High Guards, the fool assumed he could defeat them with numbers. He gathered hundreds of us together for a grand battle. Quite the motivational speaker. I'll give him that. The High Gods arrived and gave us all an ultimatum. We were to flee or be erased from the cosmos. Drake ordered us to attack. Within seconds, those who struck first vanished from existence, never to be seen again.
Drake didn't give us the option to run. He absorbed the souls of those who tried to run. I had enough of his antics and would not die for him. His guard, the old man you've met before, is much stronger than most of us. I had to take him out first to get to Drake. I struck him square in the jaw, and he went flying. Normally he would have blocked me, but he took the hit. I should have aimed better. He crashed into Selena, injuring her badly. But I couldn't stop there. I went for Drake and grabbed him by his scrawny neck, holding him up. I offered an ultimatum of my own, for them to spare the rest of us and take Drake. I wanted to see him suffer, to justify the hell he had me endure. Abruptly, a doorway opened before us. I didn't get a good look inside. Chains of light shot out, piercing his body, quickly pulling out his soul into the bright realm. It looked alien-like. From within, I heard someone speak with Drake, something along the lines of, "I'll be taking your crown now, Father." Another soul came from the doorway and entered Drake's body. While they got up, I sensed the presence of an old adversary. He looked at me and had a genuine smile. He greeted me like an old friend, as if the pain he caused me had never occurred. I didn't trust him, so I asked him what he wanted. He just assured me that he wanted no conflict, that we were free to live as we desire. I couldn't shake the feeling he had something planned, but I didn't care anymore. I just wanted this, all the pain, the control, the abuse, to stop. I called him by his name and wished him farewell. He insisted I call him something else. Then Jonathan. Seemed he was paying homage to the soul that had spurred him to hold on to hope throughout his punishment. As I was leaving, I caught Selena's scent. More out of guilt, I helped and carried her. It took some time to find this place. I'm not sure where everyone left afterwards. As far as I can tell, we're the only ones who made it back. I didn't know where else to go, to be honest. It's not like I've ever had a home on this rock. Just a cave or a prison.
Why not hire that one guy to build you a place? George, I think.
That's not a bad idea. I'll probably stay long enough for the place to be fixed up. After that, I'm gone. I'm just tired of this shit. I want to do something different. All I can do is break everything.
Alright, I can get the janitor on the line. I'm sure he'll have this mess cleaned up in a day. Dude's damn good at his job.
I'm honestly shocked I hadn't thought of it sooner.
Wait, we don't have a CEO anymore.
Beast looked at me and gestured to the red velvet chair.
Oh, hell no. Nope, no way. I'm absolutely certain I'll burn this place down by accident.
Selena, it is. That means you're gonna have to recruit for this place. I'll leave that to you. Make sure to tell her of her promotion when she wakes. I'm certain I'll be gone by then.
I managed to fix up the typewriter to update you guys as soon as I could. This happened a little while ago. 12 hours after I called the janitor, the place was back to normal. Seriously, I was staring at a shattered steel support beam. I blinked, then it was fixed and supporting again. Selena took the news of Beast's explanation as well as his departure quite well. The news about her promotion she took as well as she could. I also told her about the letter. After quite a lot of tears, along with a broken bone or two, I'm not sure on that because I heard more than 2 cracks from my body, she prepared herself for her new title. I'm hoping she does well. I believe she'll do great, actually. And I'm now in the process of hiring. And before you ask, no, Reddit is not the place where you get a job like this, or as far as I'm aware, at least. This will take up quite a lot of my time, so I won't be able to post nearly as often. I'll try to share any interesting interviews I have. As always, until further notice, I'm your friendly PFBI guy, Lynch.
Part 11. Hey, PFBI, Lynch here. That sounded funnier in my head. Anyway, I've recently found some free time. I've finally finished vanishing on my previous coworkers' files, as if they'd had never walked the face of the earth. I hardly knew any of them personally, so I found the task more time-consuming than painful, except Fred. I had grabbed his folder and was about to go through it when he walked into my office right then. He had his usual shit-eating grin as he stared at my shocked face. Ah, damn. Guess I'm lucky to get here before you go through that. I'll be taking that. He spoke as he grabbed his folder casually. Oh, you're still alive. I didn't hide my tone of distaste for him. Lighten up, Lynch. I'm here to work, not complain. I'm guessing you may need an experienced hand to help. His hand was outstretched to me. Seeing no easy way to do this on my own, I reluctantly accepted his offer. He's been scripting while I've been trying to hire people, which is much easier said than done. So normally we would have requested people from other organizations we work in tandem with. They basically responded by telling us to go screw ourselves, and they're stretched thin enough with their limited staff. I guess we aren't the only ones struggling for workers. In my process of hiring, Selena gave me a list of positions we needed filled, and holy crap. There's jobs here I haven't even heard of before. Of the weird ones, dog duty stood out to me. Strange, considering I never saw any dogs outside the building before. The only thing describing the job was to keep dogs fed. I asked Selena about it, and she just directed me towards the lower levels. It took a half hour to get beneath the building. I was already more than halfway there by the time I wanted to go back. The smell of rotting corpses should have sent me running, but I kept walking. I turned a corner and saw a few dogs just walking around. They didn't look normal. They glowed in stripes of blue or orange with their black fur coats. One of them turned and saw me, their fangs dripping with saliva. I booked it back up to the main floor, making sure to shut any doors I opened on my descent. So, we have hellhounds. Great. On a lighter note, I did manage to land my first employee. I hope you can tolerate Fred's scripting until I start doing them again. Anyway, let's get on with it. Mid-June, 1 in the afternoon. Lynch is in the process of hiring this suave-looking guy by the name of Tony.
So, you're here for a job, correct?
Tony looked around the room, analyzing everything before responding.
Yeah, that's what the ad said. You guys desperate or something? Funny you should say that. There's only 4 employees here right now, and we need jobs filled. Oh, that's desperate.
Lynch's demeanor looked agitated at Tony's words.
Let's skip the formalities. A couple questions first. Do you have a spouse, children, any family that would miss you if you worked here?
Tony's focus looked to be on his thoughts for a few seconds.
Nah, I had 3 wives. Just finished my last divorce. That girl, man, she was crazy. She won't leave me alone. But I tricked her, though. I sent her on a date with my brother. He called the next day saying she kidnapped him. I was done with that bitch, but more importantly, I wanted to get rid of my brother. That lazy bastard still lived with me, so I ignored him. That waste of my tax dollars will probably have Stockholm Syndrome with her. That, or she kills him, is a win-win for me. But in short, no family. So, do I get the job?
Lynch stared at Tony with disgust in his eyes. He calmly stood up from his chair and began rolling up his sleeves.
I think we have the perfect job for you here. Consider this your initiation. Hey, Fred, you can stop.
So after I finished washing Tony's blood off my hands, I decided to give him the job of dog duty. After he recovers, I'll be sure to teach him the ropes. That's all for now. I have more decent people to hire, hopefully. As always, I'm your not-to-be-messed-with PFBI guy. Part 12. Hi there. Everything's been slow lately. It's still been a struggle to find people to hire.
I'm starting to doubt my ability to do this. That's a lie. I'm way beyond starting. My levels of self-doubt are deeper than the Titanic at this point. Anyway, update on Selena. Since we don't have any active agents, she's decided to do the field work until I can hire replacements. She's come across a few survivors of the PFBI purge some time ago, offering to rehire them. Unanimously, they've said no. I mean, it's not like we have dental insurance, so I get it. Update on Tony. So, I checked up on that asshole to see if he'd been torn to shreds. To my disappointment, he was still alive. When I got to the floor of the hounds, I found Tony playing fetch with one of the many bones littering the floor. It seems these dogs are assholes. Fred, I couldn't give a damn about. He can go screw off. In fact, that's what I think he's been doing. He's hardly been to work, so as far as I'm aware, he can go die. With hardly anyone to interview, Fred takes it as an excuse to vanish. Not the good kind of vanish, but the regular kind. He did manage to write one more scripting before he up and left, however. Mid-June, 10 in the morning, Lynch sits across the bloodstained table, hopelessly interviewing some guy who didn't seem to be taking any of this seriously. He was this lanky-looking dude wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and light pink Crocs. His brown hair was a mess, and he looked like he hadn't slept in days. Considering how he looked, I seriously doubt he wants the job.
Good afternoon, or morning. My watch has been dead for a while now, so please forgive me. You would be?
Lynch asked the imitating crocodile hunter.
My name's Jeremy.
Croco Boy responded nonchalantly.
Is that with a G or a J?
Really? That's the first question you decide to ask him? Really? No wonder you can't hire worth shit.
Have you ever heard of someone named Jeremy? It makes the J sound, so it'd stand to reason it's with a J, don't you think? That makes sense. It's a habit of mine to make sure how a name's spelled. I used to write all the time, but now I'm here. I'm moving down in the world.
I don't know. The vice president of FBPI kind of sounds cool to me. If I was 10 years old.
So, I gotta ask, why are you looking for people without hope of family members? The nature of our company is risky, to put it lightly. The chance of death is quite high. And we don't want to deal with any mourning families threatening to sue or whatnot. So, if I'm dead to my family, does that count? I haven't actually been alive, legally speaking, for about 5 years or so. So, dead inside, I take it. You wouldn't be the first legally dead man we've hired anyway, so that would be fine. So far, the record is 10 years, I think. No, wait, scratch that. 50, now that I recall one of my previous associates. Well, let's get the show on the road. I'm a programmer. You guys looking for that type of stuff? The ad didn't exactly specify what you're looking for. Honestly, we hardly have any employees left. Just the 4 of us working. The rest have died or disappeared a while back. Whatever you can offer to lighten the load would help greatly. Just gonna skim over that part about your employees dying. I got it. Well, I set up a sort of system for some, well, let's just say some classified files. It was a while ago, but the fact I made it out of that situation alive made it clear I didn't know as much as I thought I did. What kind of sorting system? Are you talking about a filing cabinet organizer or software?
Croco Boy rubbed his temples at Lynch's idiotic question.
Software, obviously. I'm not exactly fond of discussing my clients' matters, but if it'll help me get this job, I'm just gonna lay it out. The system was meant for sorting things outside normal people's comprehension. I know you may not believe me, but I can show you the code and everything if you like. Interesting, but why do you doubt my belief? Are you asking about your abilities, or about the non-normalcy? Believe in the supernatural, I guess. The fact of the matter is that most people, even when faced with things science can't explain, take solidarity in ignorance. Oh, no, I believe you. I actually met a tall, tentacle monster and a British headless guy a while back. I saw some guy tear metal like it was a sheet of paper, but lightning shooting out of a woman's hands, and my girlfriend's Freaky Friday side, so yeah, I believe you.
Look, buddy, if you're making fun of me, I could fry your phone right now with the click of a button.
As much as it sounds like I am, I'm not. If anyone, that guy behind the glass is who I really want to piss off.
I took a second to glare at Lynch, but put a smile back onto my face.
Well, I meant like ghosts and shit, stuff like that. One left me with a pretty nasty scar on my back. I don't know if you took one tab of acid too much or what, but if you believe me, I guess it works.
Well, my girlfriend did break my arm, and my leg, and my other leg. I still love her, though, in some strange way. So, how soon do you think you can start?
Okay. I just gotta gloss over your psycho girlfriend. Well, I guess I could start as soon as you needed me. I just faked my death to all my clients recently. Actually, it was yesterday, so I'm kind of bored.
Unemployment is boring as hell. I can start you today, if you're up for it. Feel free to set up your software. Also, how's your skills at VPN? We lost our last guy, and could really use it.
I have 4 programmed by me, of course, on my computer at home. If I can get that set up here, it'll only take a few hours to make sure we all have the security set up that we need.
Great. Good to have you aboard.
Lynch leaned over the red marked table and shook the hack's hand. I had a feeling he'll do well here. So, we have a hacker. Again. Thank goodness, too. I wouldn't want someone to find our location, completely bypassing my Craigslist ad. I put a lot of work into that. Anyway, we're slowly but surely gaining some ground here. My responsibilities are decreasing, slowly but surely. Until then, I'm your friendly, middle-of-nowhere PFBI guy. Hey again. Been a while. I really suck at this hiring thing. I really don't remember the table being this red or brown. Look, it's not my fault. You think you'd be able to find people who'd be more than willing to do a mundane job about weird shit instead of a mundane job doing normal tasks. I mean, I get it. It's scary as hell walking in for a job interview, seeing a bloodstained table with a sleep-deprived guy walking you through an empty building, being told you'd likely never be seen again by society. I get it, but come on. Could you please walk out calmly, acting like you want the job, instead of sprinting out? So yeah, there's that. Jeremy has been a tremendous help. His skills really seem to have helped, even sharing and improving my pathetic attempt of an ad. Can't complain, though. It's gotten more people calling for a job. He's even set up our network. It's up and running again. I'm glad no one's shown up during the security blackout. I've no clue what the hell happened to Onyx. I hope the kid's okay. As for Fred, he's been coming and going every now and then. Don't know. Don't care. That was until today. He came over to my desk, sensing my agitation would greatly appreciate his presence. Hey, Lynch, you got some free time? I mean, since you haven't had any luck, I thought you'd need a breather. I responded as sarcastically as possible. Oh, sure. There's nothing better that I'd like to do than spend time with you instead of waiting for my next interview. He seemed oblivious to my obvious dislike for him. That, or he didn't care. Great. Let's go. If we're lucky, you'll be back in time. Reluctantly, I followed him, and we left the base shortly. In the parking lot, I noticed his car was way more impressive than my rust bucket, a jade green Lamborghini that looked fresh off the production line. Sorry, that's my wife's. She lets me drive it to work and back. Hop in. I never took you for the sporting type, I told him, as I admired his car. My mind was focused on the roar of the engine and the acceleration of the vehicle. The trees around us passed like a blur, like an oil painting. I'm surprised I hadn't gotten one of these for myself yet. The ride felt short, and we had gotten to Fred's place in minutes. Getting out of the car, I noticed the architecture looked expensive. White stone carved with runes and symbols made the outside of the large house. I didn't recognize the symbolism from any culture I knew of. Dark green shrubs and hedges surrounded the property. Who lives here? The Pope? I questioned Fred as he casually walked towards the building. He shook off my question completely. You'll see. Come on in. My wife's been dying to meet you. My mind jumped to thoughts I didn't even want to think about. Nothing I'll describe here. Entering his house, I felt a change in the air. Not like the temperature from outside being different from the inside, more like an energy pulse. Like electricity, I guess. Fred led me to the living room. Sitting on the couch, wearing a robe a bit too revealing, was a stunningly gorgeous woman. Her hair was orange-red. She felt familiar, like I'd seen her before. "Oh, Lynch. Pleasure to see you again." She spoke with an accent that made me remember instantly. "Oh, you're that Scottish lady, aren't you?" Have you ever said something that you could feel that those words should never have been uttered? The look of pure rage she gave me was as if I'd killed Fred as she watched. Now that I think about it, would she miss Fred as much as I wouldn't? "I'm Irish, you bloody fuck." Fred jumped in to stop her before she got up and tore me in half. Or at least I pissed off my target of one person for the day. After Fred had calmed her down, he introduced her to me. "Okay, now that's over. Lynch, this is Destiny." She reached out her hand to shake mine. "Nice to meet you. I'm curious what Fred's told you about me." I rubbed the back of my neck in embarrassment. "Oh, just enough. Scotch." She began to grin as she saw my expression shift from calm to fear to recognition. "So, I'm guessing you know more than I do." I questioned her, trying to see her intentions. "What do you remember? Anything specific?" She prodded me for answers. "Only what I've read. Nothing more, nothing less. What do you want?" "That's the question, isn't it? I'm a collector of that which interests me. You see, you're part of a rare specimen, one that I want. I have the ability to control the fate of someone if I so desire. Yet I can't even begin to affect yours whatsoever. Fred here is the luckiest person I've found of this generation. I just had to have them. As much luck as I take away from him, he never lucks out. Such talents are often genetic, which leads me to what else I want from you. Your son." I could feel my rage slowly increasing, only causing Destiny to smile wider. "Why? If you already have me, why him?" "I haven't seen one of your kind in a very long time. A perfect blend of human and non. Such a specimen would be incredible." "What? We're just things to you? Not living beings with thoughts, hopes, and dreams?" The house shook as she responded. "Don't test me, boy. I don't think you grasp the extent of my abilities. I can control the thread of fate, change someone's destiny, manipulate the luck of most anyone I desire. I want you, so I can understand why you aren't affected. But I can wait for your death. I'll just collect your body and examine it then. So, that's it. You get me, whether I want it or not." "Oh, don't be so sad. I'll be sure to take great care with your corpse. I believe enough's been said. Fred, would you be a dear and return him? He might be late for his appointment." Fred started towards the door, waiting for me to follow. I wanted to hurt her ego before I left. "So, you depend on obedient lapdogs and corpses. The morgue is hiring, if you weren't aware. Goodbye, Destiny." She feigned laughter at my remark. "Please, call me Lady Luck. And I do wish you good luck, Scotch. Farewell." Fred and I were at the front of the house again. Crossing the threshold of the front door, I felt the shift in atmospheric pressure again. Fred swung open the driver's side door and turned to me. "You know, I'm gonna have to make her happy with what you just said. Happy wife, happy life. Here." He tossed me the keys to the Lamborghini. "You're serious?" I jabbed at his decision.
Whatever fate you do have, I want to see if my luck could outdo it. Little experiment. I win by getting the car back without you taking it to me. You win by, well, let's see what happens. Just follow the path. Should be self-explanatory. With that, he went back inside, eyes wide. I slid into the driver's seat. Okay, let's see what this baby can do. Oh, damn. I really hope he has insurance or something on that car. I mean, his wife's rich. It's her car, after all. And I might have just pissed her off with this. Huh. Pissing off the goddess of luck. That's a first. Anyway, I've got an interview in a bit. I'll be back with an update on that. With Fred gone, I'll have to record the interview and script it later. That said, I'm your luckless PFBI guy. Part 14. First and foremost, I'm sorry. I know I say that more than I should, but at least I have a good excuse this time. You see, I don't work at the PF. The Federal Bureau of Paranormal Investigation anymore. I've basically been kidnapped and taken to one of the many facilities called the Vault. Before I go further, I have one last scripting I'd like to tell you about. The last one I made, anyway. I was at my desk preparing my tape recorder and new typewriter. My last one was destroyed in the break-in a while back. Hardly an hour passed when I saw this huge, cloaked guy walk towards me. He had this sword strapped to his back. All other details were hidden by his clothing.
You, puny man. Is this the Federal Bureau of Paranormal Investigation?
He asked with a scary voice, like the kind of scary that if I said the wrong thing, one syllable from him would end my existence. Damn it. I tried to change the words around, but nope. Yeah. I'm guessing you're my 2 o'clock. His tone shifted.
You must be Lynch. I saw your awful Craigslist ad and thought that was a joke. I'm very glad to find its legitimacy.
Another gut shot. Gee, thanks. Anyway, come on in. We'll get started. I led him through the rows of empty desks and tables. He was looking around in fascination. He even chuckled a bit. I saw Jeremy look up at me from his work, stopping to gawk at the guy behind me. Don't worry, he's another applicant. I think he might actually stay compared to the others. That didn't help his expression. If there was a face that said, I shit myself, Jeremy had it. I'm just glad I was able to hide my own fear. We entered the interrogation room and sat in the 2 seats available. I could hear the chair groaning under his weight. If I don't want to replace it, I better do this quickly. So, Charlie, is it? I asked, forgetting what his name was on the application.
Charles is fine. I must say, I didn't think the building would be this empty. I expected at least a guard or 2 at the entrance.
His tone seemed innocent. Well, we do have guard dogs. If they actually guard, that is. Then again, they terrify more applicants, so yeah. I took a few seconds to look over him. Something didn't sit right. From his appearance alone, an office job didn't suit him. You seem like the adventurous find a monster, fight it, kill it type. So, why apply here? Charles leaned his weight onto the table.
A change of pace, I guess. Slashing people really gets boring after a while. Your co-worker, is he the only one here other than yourself?
Odd, but whatever. Well, for the time being, it's Jeremy, Tony, his hounds, and I. Our boss would be Selena, but she's been gone for a while looking for old co-workers to rehire. No luck, though. So, what skills do you have? A sly grin grew on his face.
Well, not to brag, but it's violence. I love it. I crave it. But everyone's too damn weak these days. There's no fun in the challenge anymore. The 3 of you could hardly put up a fight were I to attack.
I eyed Charles suspiciously. Okay, man, what's your deal? Are you looking for a job or looking to pick a fight? Oh, I'm sorry, a slaughter.
His face became serious.
Now there's the real question. Hardly any defenses, a flimsy metal door, 3 men, and a few pops. This was much easier than I had prepared for. I was honestly expecting to see someone else when I got here, but it looks like they left. Now then, before I answer your question, I believe you have something that belongs to me. A book of sorts.
My eyes widened at this accusation. The files I found a while ago. How do you know about that?
Your online posts. For the longest time, they've been hidden. For a time, at least. That security breach of yours gave us the chance we needed to find you. A pathetic organization you have here. I highly doubt it would ever recover.
Damn it. Onyx. What the hell happened to him? Why do you want the files? What are they to you? He's not wrong, but I wanted to get as much out of him as I could.
I'm a conqueror of knowledge. The type that has proven harmful if left in the hands of those unqualified to handle it. Now, you're going to take me to it.
Without another word, he got up from his chair, the seat squeaking after the force was finally removed from it. He glared at me, waiting for me to lead him through the building. I couldn't really fight back, so I did as he said. We left the interrogation room, passing by Jeremy once more.
Oh, that was quick. So he's working with us.
I laughed sheepishly. No, turns out he's here for another reason. I'm just leading him out.
Ah, damn. Would have been cool for him to stick around.
Charles glanced towards Jeremy.
Actually, it seems Lynch here has more use at my location of employment. I doubt he'll find it worthwhile to set foot in here again.
I started to feel my body begin to tremble. I gave Jeremy the oh shit look he gave me a few minutes ago. He nodded subtly and started typing away at his computer. I could feel Charles staring down at me, so I continued forward. We finally reached my desk. I could feel his impatience. Before I could sit down, he started tearing through my desk feverishly, as if his life depended on getting those files. Before long, he found the safe beneath the rubble that was my desk. Oh, right, the code, it's... But before I could finish, he tore the door off like butter, then poured everything out onto the floor. He sifted through the documents until he found them.
It's been opened. I presume you've gone through the contents. No matter. You're still coming with me. Retrieve what you need. Then we'll go.
I grabbed my phone, the Lamborghini keys, my typewriter, and a few sheets of paper. He looked at me, a confused and amused look on his face.
You do realize it was due to your habit of writing down your records that placed you in this predicament.
I looked back at him, unsure of what to say. Old habits die hard, I guess. He shook his head.
Let's be off now.
Awkwardly carrying everything in my arms, I shuffled to the front of the building. I had almost exited the building when I heard someone sprinting behind me.
Lynch, hold up. You forgot something.
I craned my neck to see Jeremy running towards me. He slowed to a jog, passing by Charles as he got to me. He panted, trying to catch his breath.
Here, you forgot your watch. You left it on your desk. Well, what was your desk? I never know what time it might be. You suck at charging your phone.
Oh, thanks. My hands are kind of full, though. He took the watch and slid it into my pocket. Afterward, he waved as Charles and I left the building. Outside, there was another vehicle, an armored truck that wasn't there before. It was huge. Charles waved his hand, seemingly causing the left side doors to open.
It will be a short drive. Don't get too comfortable.
I reached towards the seat, placing my belongings on the cushion. I climbed in and shoved my things to the seat next to me. Charles sat in the driver's seat. Once he started the car, the doors slammed closed. The engine was quiet for a truck, unless it was a hybrid. Look, I'm not a car guy. The car jolted forward for several seconds, but instead of being thrown back in my seat, I felt weightless. All the windows were covered except the windshield. A parade of colors and light were streaming past us, some I couldn't begin to describe.
I'm guessing you're new to this form of travel.
Charles said to me. unfazed by what mesmerized me. "What is this?"
This is a corridor. If I say more, you're right about it.
Fair enough. He wasn't wrong. The lights snapped away, replaced by the scenery of very tall trees and a dilapidated stone structure in front of us, standing on the edge of a cliff.
We've arrived. Leave your belongings. One of my servants will take care of it.
Thank goodness. I'd rather not carry it all again. If I'm honest, I was a bit suspicious that they'd be messed with. The left side doors opened again, letting me get out of the tank on wheels. Outside, I got a better look at the structure. It was a massive and decrepit castle. It looked centuries old, practically ready to fall apart and crumble. The drawbridge lowered once Charles exited the truck.
Stay behind me. It's best not to get lost here.
I just nodded, absorbing the scenery around me. He was already crossing the bridge by the time I looked back, so I hurried and caught up with him. As soon as I stepped off the old wood, it was drawn closed. Charles continued forward. Inside, the old building was practically empty. The one thing within was a throne, tattered and aged, and a staircase behind the chair leading downwards. He stared at the chair for a couple of moments, letting out a deep sigh. With more force, he walked past it as if trying to keep out a memory. I was curious what secrets it held. The staircase was an anomaly of its own. The second I stepped foot on the first step, it felt weird, similar to what it felt like waking in Lady Luck's mansion. Another strange thing, the stairs didn't turn at all, just forward and downward. After a couple of minutes, we should have walked off the cliff. The walls on either side of us were covered in runes I couldn't recognize from any history book. In the distance, I saw a pale white door, etched with the same symbols as the walls. In the middle was a wood-carved sign with 3 letters on it. P-H-I. I recalled seeing those letters on the headset that I used on Joseph. The memory made me cringe with regret. Hey, those letters, I've seen them before. What do they mean? Without breaking his stride, Charles answered.
Preservation of historical items. Things deemed too dangerous to be left in the hands of the public are collected and brought here, among many other places.
My eyes shifted to the sword on his back. I didn't get a good look until now. It looked ancient. The handle was worn but cared for. The blade itself looked as if it had been shattered but reforged. So, is that sword also one of those items? His head shifted to glance at me before turning back.
This sword has been and will always be mine. I found it in a European museum. Stealing it back. A blade similar to it was stolen before I found this. I have an idea of who it was, but nothing certain.
We finally reached the door, which Charles pushed open. Inside was an immaculate office, futuristic but modern in a way. "Oh, Charles, you're back." We turned to the source of the voice and saw a detective walking towards us.
Oh, Sean, good to see you. Any luck with your last case?
No. Turns out the kid turned into a skinwalker before anyone could find him. I finished off the poor boy and gave his folks the usual, "I'm sorry, he's gone." First time I couldn't find someone in time. It pissed me off a bit. Charles looked at Sean with sympathy in his eyes.
I see. I'm sorry, my friend. As for the subjects?
The majority have been transferred to Vault 3. Honestly, we never should have let people even try to contain them. The rest have agreed to work for us. Sean looked over at me. "Oh, is this that moron who put his shit online? What was it? The PFBI?" I felt my blood run hot. "Hey, asshole, I can hear you." He got right in my face and continued. "Good, because you better get that through your thick skull. You're the reason we even knew about your little organization. So everything that's happened, that's on you." I was going to start swinging when Charles stopped me.
Enough. There will be time for bickering later. We have more important matters.
Sean's eyes lit up. Thank you for reminding me. We got hit. Somewhere on one of the smaller islands. I'll send you the coordinates. Charles rubbed his temple.
Damn. I can't catch a break, can I? Watch him while I'm gone. Take this and put it with the others.
Charles reached into his cloak, pulling out the subject files. Sean took it, handling it delicately. Anything specific you want me to do with them? They both stared at me.
Just ensure he doesn't do anything stupid until I get back.
With that, he left back up the stairs, closing the door behind him. Well then, looks like you're stuck with me, and don't expect that watch of yours to work. I looked at the watch Jeremy gave me. Wait, what? What the hell are you talking about? Sean laughed. You're even denser than I took you for. The security here stops any and all communication of location devices. Whoever gave you that, unless their algorithm is adaptive, they've had no luck finding you, princess. Okay, let's get this clear. I really don't like you. You don't like me, or you get enjoyment from pushing my buttons, and I hate it. So let's agree to talk as little as humanly possible. Agreed? He stared at me for a few seconds. All right then, you best follow me and keep your mouth shut. I followed him wordlessly as we made multiple turns to the building, passing by countless doors on either side of us. He stopped in front of an empty doorway. I actually don't think it had a door. Inside the frame was an orange, translucent energy, similar to a force field. He walked in, and then I did. Inside was a massive room. Countless bookshelves with a multitude of books filled the space around us. My jaw dropped as I gawked at the collection of knowledge around us. Sean chuckled at my reaction. Incredible, isn't it? Welcome to the Forgotten Library. Your room is just outside of here. You'll be spending your time there or here. I suggest you get comfortable. He turned to one of the bookshelves, placing the files in an empty slot. Feel free to read whatever you like here, as many times as you want, actually. He exited the room, leaving my curious mind to wander. So, yeah, I've been here for some time now. I should be able to update you again sometime soon. Until then, I'm your lost and alone PFBI guy. Part 15. Hey there, Lynch here. So just a few updates this time. The library. I can't even begin to describe what I've read. No, seriously, I literally can't. I don't know what kind of shit they put in there, but I can't remember anything that I've read. Like, I remember reading, and then I leave, and then I can't remember what I just read. I've tried writing down what I read, just to watch the ink disappear off the page. I typed it on my phone, gone. Hell, I even tried a voice recording. No data at all. I can't take any of the books out of the library. The force field won't let me. In fact, I think that's what's causing all of this. I can remember anything other than the library. I do have to hand it to them, though. The Forgotten Library is a fitting name. I can recall the titles, though. Well, most of them. Lost Secrets of Ancient Greek Technology, Shattered Paradise, History of Atlantis, Impossible Feats and Who Built Them, Aliens, No, Seriously, Black Holes and Where to Not Find Them, The Lost Kingdom of Katarindu, The Legend of the Not Very Heroic Prince, Memory and the Madness Without, How to Summon Something You Probably Shouldn't, and my personal favorite, Time to Waste. The majority of the other books are in several different languages. Half of them look to be centuries old at least. I don't want to touch them. I mean, I did touch one of them, and it fell apart in my fingers. Oops. So, the structure itself is pretty damn strange. I've been trying to find my way out of this place. I mean, there's a lot of hallways here, so it was already a maze, but I had to begin somewhere. I started by leaving my room and picking a random hallway, just to turn a corner to find the library across from my room. Turn around to find the same damn thing.
I've walked for literal miles one time, and walked for a mile straight forward, just to be forced back to those 2 rooms. It's been adding to a growing panic that I might not get out of this place. Sean has been making sure I'm fed and kept out of trouble. He seems irritable at being my babysitter. Honestly, I don't blame him. Hell, even I get sick of having to take care of my dumbass. Every now and then, he calls me about Charles obtaining another artifact and sending it to a vault. From what I could gather, I think there are 3 categories of the vaults. First, people, or living organisms, varying in consciousness or thought. Second, weapons or items with power or just mystery itself. Third, books or any collection of knowledge with or without a hidden secret. As for why they collect them, I personally don't buy the whole people aren't prepared for these things approach. No one even knows they exist. Unless I post this. I really suck at keeping secrets. So, today was different compared to the routine I began growing accustomed to. Instead of Sean's annoying face staring at me, it was Charles. He sounded a tad energetic.
Arise and follow me. It's time I acquire the intel from you, personally. Consider it an interrogation.
How ironic. Oh well, I'm sure this is bound to happen sooner or later. Karma catches up to us every now and then. Lead on, Cloak and Dagger. He wasn't amused at my joke. I followed him through the maze-like hallways, feeling a sense of relief of finally passing by different sets of doors. Before I could get my hopes up too high, he stepped in front of an open doorway. He gestured for me to walk inside. Peeking my head in, I saw it was a white hexagonal table with 2 chairs at the end. With a bit of impatience, he said,
Let us begin.
I took my seat closest to the wall, so I could see the doorway behind him. He took his seat and began.
Now, Lynch, I don't often take prisoners of your caliber. If I'm being honest, I kill them on the spot to reduce loose threats. However, your selfless sacrifice to spare your friends is, well, a bit pathetic. For their survival, I hope you have something of value to offer.
I took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. There was far more than my life in my hands at the moment. So, you're already aware of those files in my possession. I can promise you that the only living eyes that have seen those pages are you and I. As for the posts themselves, yeah, I did bring this on myself. I was an idiot for thinking this wouldn't come back to bite me in the ass, but I didn't care. And now, here we are. I didn't really know what else to say or offer. Charles seemed bored with my words.
That's the best you have to offer. Really? I'm disheartened, Lynch. I truly am. I mean, you've seen countless beings with many abilities in your last job alone, and you don't consider offering that knowledge as well.
He had a point. I really should have thought of that. Confidentiality. If it's too secret, I can't talk about it, you know?
That obviously didn't stop you from talking about this place, now did it?
I really wasn't helping my case. Look, I honestly have no clue what I could say, give, or offer that you wouldn't look past. All I want is for my friends to be safe and alive, so if that means doing what's necessary, then damn it, I'll do it. Charles stared at me. He looked taken aback.
Look, I believe that you truly want to save your comrades. If you have something, any amount of crucial information I would want, I would spare you. But it looks as if your time has come.
I began to lose care of what I said at that moment. Jeez, not sure how Lady Luck's gonna get my corpse from this place. The eyes of my interrogator grew wide after I said that.
Where did you hear that name?
I grew a bit confused. She told me? He grew more furious with his questions.
How? You met her? No one meets her. Where did you find her? Show me. Tell me how.
He stood up from his chair quickly, grabbing and tossing the table to the side. He ran over to me, pinning me against the wall. Okay, I'll take you to her, he yelled right in my face.
Now!
I followed Charles out of the facility, up the ruined stairs and out of the old castle. We were outside when he started ordering me to take him to her.
Show me where she is.
Look, her husband gave me his Lamborghini, borrowed it to me. I'm pretty sure I can just drive it back. He laughed at me mockingly.
Drive it back? If that isn't a joke, I don't know what is.
Look, just take me back to the PFBI. The Lambo is there. We can go return it, and you can say hi to Lady Luck yourself, okay? He stared at me, contemplating my offer.
It matters not if you tell the truth. Should I find you to be lying, I'll return there anyway and kill every one of your allies. That is my promise to you.
Great. Now can you please open the portal and let's go? He shook his head and raised his hands to wave it.
It is called a corridor.
Instead of the giant corridor that opened like last time, a smaller one emerged right in front of me. So, just walk through? No big deal? Just like a roller coaster? I heard him chuckling behind me.
Let's be off, Lynch. While you still draw breath, that is.
So, I stepped through the portal. The weightlessness feeling came back, but my feet felt magnetized to the floor. Like before, I was only in there for moments, just to walk out as suddenly as I entered. The front of the PFBI looked unchanged, from what I could tell, at least. Before I could move any closer to the front door, I felt Charles's hand on my shoulder.
Lady Luck, show me.
My shoulders dropped. I felt some of my hope fade. My hand reached into my pants pocket, pulling out the car keys. Clicking it, the Lambo roared to life. Well, as much life as a wrecked race car could offer. Climb in, and hang on to the oh shit handle. The return drive felt longer than the first time I had driven the car. Charles was barely able to fit inside. He looked like he was about to pop like a zit. He gave me a look every time I made a sharp turn. I finally stopped the car, but before I could put it in park, he slammed open the passenger door. Getting out, I just threw the keys into the driver's seat. Looking over at Charles, he was glaring at the well-kept mansion in front of us. Wordlessly, we walked inside. Curiosity overcame me, and I followed him. Soon, I came face to face with Lady Luck once more. Again, her appearance had changed. The only thing that stayed the same was her hair. She seemed unsurprised at seeing him. Oh, Charles, so we meet again? Charles reached over his shoulder, readying his sword.
Greetings, sorceress. How I've long awaited this meeting.
Really? He threatened me? After all that I've done to help you in your desperate time of need? His grip tightened on the sword, not yet drawing it.
You've tricked me countless times, you vile snake.
The house began to shake.
And you? I trusted you with her. What did you do? Use her as a weapon for your futile war. And I'm the one to blame.
He drew his sword, pointing it at her. Wind began to pick up, emanating from the two of them.
Don't you dare speak about her.
They stood there, staring each other down. Lady Luck changed her tone to try to calm things down.
You know, there is a way to bring her back.
Lies.
She stared at Charles, unfazed by the blade pointed at her.
You and I both know I have nothing to gain from lying about this.
Charles began to lower his sword.
What are you trying to achieve then, Temptress?
She spoke to him as if he were a child.
Oh, poor child. All of those centuries long past. And you think trying to control the fate of this world would save it? Such a fool.
Coldly, he replied.
We are both hypocrites, witch. Now, answer me.
Her gaze shifted to me.
Well, that information will cost you. I want his corpse.
Charles glanced at me, then back towards Lady Luck.
Why? Wouldn't a simple task be easy for yourself?
No. His gift far exceeds my ability. I feel one of a higher caliber. would be able to shatter whatever deity blessed him with protection. Do this, and I will tell you exactly where to go to bring her back to you.
Charles turned to stare at me, the weight of his decision reflected in his eyes. There was also resolve in his sight. It was at that moment I felt all of my hope fade.
I am truly sorry, Lynch. It seems your fate has been sealed.
So, here I am now, in my room. I've been given one last meal. Instead, I've decided to spend that time writing this out instead. I feel you all deserve to know what happens to me, what happens to the PFBI. I mean, I'm not the only one who works there, but I've been the only one who told of any of this. So, yeah, I feel I've lived a good life, one that I can be proud of. Also, on the very slight chance my son is reading this. Heck, no matter what happens, no matter what or who you might lose, don't give up hope. It hurts like hell, but that light does exist at the end. Keep fighting for it. This is Lynch, your friendly PFBI guy, signing off indefinitely.
Thank you for listening and delving with me into the dark together.
Please remember to leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you feel so inclined. The more engagement this video gets, the more YouTube will push my content to others.
Thus, the following will grow.
All stories read in this channel will be available on Spotify, iTunes, and just about everywhere else. Links in the description.
Thank you for listening and feeding the cause. We'll be seeing you